And we're back, and it's another Thursday, and we got some things to discuss, some books, hopefully, to talk about, some other niceties, especially with our so-called video topic for today, and a lot of other stuff here. But before
I,
we get into it, how is everybody today?
I'm fine. Cliff, I have a bunch of stuff I'm going to give him that's going
Okay.
to eventually make its way to you.
Why, thank you. I like getting stuff. Uh,
Okay. He's
yeah.
frozen on my
Uh,
thingy.
yes. Uh, yeah. I'm good. I'm downing my cup of coffee while we're talking, and got done talking to Grayson about her debut as a podcast panelist the other day, and
She did good.
she goes, I was kind of nervous. I was like, well, you did fine. She goes, it was really easy when Elaine was on there. She's like everybody's aunt you want to talk to. And I was like, okay. And she goes, and Miss Kelly's like, it's kind of like everybody's big sister. I was like, okay. She goes, but Joe's like the grumpy uncle that doesn't like anything.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, that's pretty much it, baby. She goes, yeah, I just wanted to let you know. I was like, okay.
Yeah, I could be the grumpy uncle, but it's not like the grumpy uncle that doesn't like anything. It's just more like I'm the grumpy uncle who's like, oh, you just got to get me invested in the right thing and be like, here, let me tell you about this.
well, well, we're gonna see how grumpy you are when I'm done tonight because
Oh, shit.
I got some stuff.
Yeah,
Oh,
you got
no.
she got the KO stuff and everything to that magnitude. But before we get into that, we got some outstanding business to talk about. What
Okay.
happened last week? Now, last week, for those who are watching on YouTube, the broadcast got stopped. It was still going on as far as Facebook and Twitch is concerned. So we're broadcasting live on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. But YouTube cut us off because of a warning dealing with copyrights. Because we do talk about cartoons and we do try to show as much of cartoon information as possible. The reason why it got cut off is because we went into that really quagmire of copyright infringement. It wasn't the fact that we showed the video. It was more along the lines there was not enough commentary in the video in the video that we showed. It became more of like, oh, are we doing a watch party or are we actually, educating people about the subject that was on the screen here? And I noticed even for myself, for all the other episodes that led up into last week's, which was cops fighting crime in the future time, I was constantly commenting on different things that was happening in the video. Except for that one, I kind of took that step back because neither one of you have seen cops fighting crime in the future time. So I gave you the if I could say the afford you the opportunity to watch it without having all the extra commentary from me. And
Mm,
that's what got it flagged and that's what got it removed here. And I
okay,
learned
okay.
that from actually going through like their so-called the YouTube training course once you get your first warning per se for violating community standards. It wasn't the fact that we showed it. It was more along the lines that I didn't do as much commentary to educate people on what we were doing and why it was so important and this, that, and the other here. So you have to we have to be mindful of the length. So if we do a full episode, we have to be commenting on everything that's in that episode. It cannot be like a viewing
Yeah.
as a whole here, or whatever segment that you do show, you have to really educate about the segment here. No, not necessarily getting in trouble. It's just more along the lines that YouTube flagged it and removed it. So I have to go back in post production, edit out the majority of the episode of cops fighting crime in a future time, and then repost it back up for everybody to see it again. But no, it wasn't really anything that we got in trouble for. It's just the fact that it came off as if we was doing a regular viewing more so than anything else. Like if
Well,
we
any of
like
you who
Go
would
ahead.
like to watch cops and not get us struck by a copyright on Facebook or on YouTube, the entire series is free to watch on Tubi if you have access to it. Um, Along with 90% of the 80s cartoons you can think of, I'm in the process of doing a rewatch of Silverhawks, and I will be making my way to Cops when it's over,
Mhm.
which may be sooner than later because I'm probably going to skip when they bring in the unfortunately named Hot Wing to start Silverhawks. But
Oh, the magician, and I forgot what the other one was called. Flashback, the one that could time travel.
yeah, I just can't get over that the one African American character was named Hot Wing. I'm like, I can't watch this.
Yeah,
Um,
Hot Wing, the magician.
yeah, but I also find it kind of interesting because I watched in the past. I haven't in a while, but I've watched entire wrestling and UFC pay per views as a watch along, where all the streamer did was turn it on and leave, so you could just watch it on YouTube or on. I've watched a couple on Twitch that way too. So it's funny you got busted, and these people who were doing that haven't. Most of them still doing it. So, it's
Well,
just our luck.
it wasn't even getting busted. It was just more along the lines like I found that on YouTube. I made certain that we wasn't breaking any true YouTube rules here. It's just that we got flagged because of the simple fact that I usually comment a lot more in those type of scenarios. And last week I didn't because I knew that you two have never seen cops fighting crime in the future time. So I can't just, be like motor mouth all day throughout the whole entire episode. And YouTube was like, no, that's what you need to do. You have to be educational. You have to bring something to the table to say that it is transformative. It's not just you guys watching, cops. You're transforming it into something that's educational or something or some type of editorial about it.
Yeah, as I said earlier, most of the reactors that I watch, like Struggle Nation,
Mhm.
um, and other groups, is they usually like the normies. They've been talking about, YouTube's going. You need to give them a longer intro. They want more of an intro before they run the video, and if it's an hour video, then it got to take 20 minutes out or
Well,
something like that. I've seen people doing Fellowship of the Ring.
mhm.
They extend it, and what they're showing is maybe an hour and 40 minutes of the actual film, or an hour and a half. And anybody who's ever seen the extended of Fellowship, that's over 4.5 hours of movie, and they have to you know squeeze it down to that hour and maybe half hour and 45, because otherwise they will get strikes, and then they have to continuously talk through it, because otherwise it's like, if they're they have to give reactions to it, so otherwise YouTube will like give them strikes and stuff. So yeah,
And they even said in their so-called training that it's like, go so far, stop, comment, do whatever you need to do, give whatever commentary instruction, whatever, then turn it back on, go so far, and then stop it. And it's like, as long as you bring something transformative or educational to the table, they're okay with it. And I was like, so in other words, I just didn't comment too much on that particular episode.
and
So
I was trying to watch it straight through, so
Mhm.
yeah, it does get to where, and it's the algorithm, because
I
if you
mean,
had a
there's nothing wrong
person
with it.
checking up on you as opposed to just the algorithm, because I realized the problem I'm having at Amazon,
Mhm.
there aren't any people actually running through the print process. I realized that because I ordered 5 copies of The Enslaved. So I would make sure I had at least 10, 9 or 10 copies to take with me to C2E2.
Mhm.
And I'm going to ask you, because y'all is intelligent men,
Mhm.
notice anything?
Yes, they're
Notice
different
anything?
sizes. They're different sizes.
Yes. The one in the middle is, the rest of them are pretty much the same size. Sorry. But the one in the middle, that's as tall as it is. Now, it is the complete book. They didn't cut any of it, but for some reason, they shrunk it. And it's like, I'm gonna have to sell this one for like, 17.50 or $18. I can't charge $20 for it because it's a little shorter than its siblings. But it's the entire book, all the all the text, all the art is there, but for some weird reason, that one just ain't like the others. This
So
one thing,
it was printed that way. It wasn't cut like it got
for
too
some
far into the.
reason, that one got printed that way. And instead of somebody, usually in my grandmother, my maternal grandmother used to work in a book bindery. And one of the things they had to do with, they bound books, novels, comics. They did the binding for all these different publishers. So something like that would not have got past her crew, because if they had sent any of that, and understand, they would do the work and there was always somebody there overseeing, checking. They get 50 books done and they go, okay, hold on. And they had somebody checking to make sure everything was fine, that they were exact copies of each other. They don't do that anymore. That's why I sent them a larger file and they sent me back a worse copy. They still, it's uneven and everything, because there isn't a person overlooking the process, making sure. There is nobody who is actually capable of overlooking, because usually what happens is the publisher will have a copy that they send the binders and say, this is what this finished product should look like. This is, and there's usually somebody checking to make sure that everything that they say it's supposed to be there, it's supposed to be there the way that it's supposed to be there. That tells me that there is not anybody managing quality control, because all they did was, it printed out, it cut the pages, they glued them, they put them on a thing, and nobody stopped to say, wait, this one's not the same size. It's the same, it's the book, but it didn't print at the right height. I don't know what happened. All I know is there had to be some sort of, computational bugaboo,
Right.
and because there weren't any humans involved other than somebody who packed it, and their job is not quality control.
Exactly.
Now, before we get too far away from it, Lantern 99, Bionic 6 is available on the Internet Archive for free to watch, and you can find some episodes on YouTube, but it's not streaming anywhere. And the only place to get the complete series on DVD is some sketchy ass bootlegger websites. So you're gonna have to wait till we finally get around to talking about it.
No, we actually talked about it already. We already did it.
I missed that episode. Damn it.
We already did we didn't do any episodes of Bionic 6. We didn't do like a full episode like we normally would, but we already talked about Bionic 6.
Yeah. Sorry.
We talked about Bionic 6. We talked about Centurions already. We talked about a lot of cartoons. That's why I was saying, it's like, where's Bionic 6 at? It's like, you missed it.
Centurions is also on Tubi.
Last year that we talked about Bionic 6.
Now, I will say, I watched Bionic 6 and Centurions. They were both awesome. The toys for the Centurions were okay, but those Bionic 6 toys, because they have real metal in them, you could crack somebody across the dome with those real easy.
So they're toys that are they're murder weapons masquerading as toys.
Yes, exactly.
Because their bionic pieces were actually like lead or something, because they were heavy. And yeah, wow. I'm not gonna admit to or deny chunking one at a friend because I got mad one day. But
okay.
Yeah.
I shall.
I remember the Centurions discussion, because I made a big deal about how everybody was like, "Oh, we love Ace McCloud." It's like, no, the best guy out of the Centurions was Jake Rockwell. I will die on that hill. Jake Rockwell was the best Centurion ever.
Just got done watching one of the later episodes of the Centurions on Tubi, and I'd completely forgotten they introduced 2 new Centurions towards the end.
It was I forgot what the Indian guy was, and I forgot.
Yeah, it was an international playboy / scientist, so he must have been a member of the JSA. And the Native American, who he was the only one, his super suit had him shirtless, and everything revolved around him saying something about his ancestors and spirits. I was like, seriously, man. I
It's
know
like
what
Jay
it was
Silverheels
just the
having to
writing
say
of
keep
the late
copy
80s.
every 5 minutes.
It was the writing of the late 80s, and they were not regular Centurions. They were the backups. It was like, oh, if Max Ray wasn't available, they took his place. They took Max Ray's place. Or if
Okay.
Jake wasn't around, one of them takes their place.
Yeah,
And they never gave Crystal a break. They didn't bring in somebody there for Crystal to help Crystal out. They was like,
she had the
all right,
monkey.
we're all men and we're all Centurions. It's like, why can't Crystal have a suit and go down to Earth and actually fight some stuff? She's just as good. She's just as good as Ace and Max when it comes to certain things.
Yeah,
Oh yeah,
she had
but
boobies.
that shows. Yeah, you can't get the boobs in the super suit. You know, that's not how it works. When they call down her toy accessories for the kids to see, you know, and when they come back, it might be taking something else with it by accident. Can't have that, you know. That's why if you noticed on the men's super suits, there was nothing that attached near the crotch in case that happened.
Well, no, I
Anyway,
take that back. No, I take that back because Wild Weasel there was a wheel, so it was like a curvature that kept it from
Well,
being seen.
the wheel was connected to the back of it and just curved around. It didn't
Right,
actually attach to the front.
right,
So,
exactly.
have we talked about Conan the Adventurer yet?
No, we haven't got to
Okay.
Conan the Adventurer
Okay.
TV series as yet. We haven't got
okay, I
that far.
didn't see that TV series. A series I did see recently, the first 5 episodes of, and I'm not sure if I'm going to watch any more, even if Media Nights do. I was watching the Media Nights react to Monarch Legacy of Monsters. It's on Apple TV. So unless you have an Apple TV account or you get a freebie or something, you won't get to see it otherwise unless you catch somebody doing a reaction video. And they've done well enough that they've got a second season. Media Night started watching season 1, and I have to agree with them. It started good. The first scene opens with John Goodman making a tape to someone, and he's like, I don't think I'm going to make it out of here. And you realize he's on Skull Island, and he is running from a kaiju, and he has put together one of those plastic bags that float, and it's full of monarch information, and he throws that in the ocean because he figures he's not going to survive the monster. um, the next scene is a young Japanese American woman going to Japan, opening up what she thinks is her dad's old apartment because her dad has died. And it turns out he had another family. So in America, he had her and her mom. And in Japan, he had this son and his mom. So they have to deal with that. And the first couple of episodes I love because it was this very layered storytelling. They were going through time loops, but every time you want to jump through time, you were never going, oh, where are we now? It was clear, oh, now we're at this point in time when these early people who helped found Monarch got connected. Oh, now we're back in what for them is the modern day. And so and the first ones you might get a little discombobulated, but by the middle of episode 1, you easily get your bearings, and you're finding out, oh, that's why this is, and that's why that is. And as these kids, because they're just trying to figure out, well, why did dad have 2 families? He had a family in America, he had a family here. And they're just trying to deal with that. And as they're trying to find out the truth of who their father is, they start learning about Monarch and how he's connected to Monarch. And the character I most liked was played by 2 people, the Russells, Kurt Russell and his son Wyatt. They both portray the same character, Colonel Lee, at different stages of his life. So Wyatt is playing him as a young man, and Kurt, of course, is playing him in the modern day. And there's a great scene where Kurt is looking at footage of his younger self, and they impose the face of his son on his face. And it is so beautifully done and unsettling, because it's like, oh my goodness, they just look so much alike. Um, but the first, like I said, the first three episodes are really good. You start, it ends up being the girl, the two siblings, the girl, the guy, and then his ex-girlfriend, because when his father dies, he ghosts this girl that supposedly he was in love with, and he ghosts her. But she's a computer tech, and he needs her skills to crack this, the files that they found in this guy's office that are Monarch. And of course, when they crack the Monarch files, it has a thing embedded in it. So the minute you open up these files, it tells Monarch, hey, somebody's looking at me over here. So it becomes this situation of they're trying to get information and at the same time not get grabbed by Monarch, because the Monarch of this series is not the Monarch that we've gotten used to in the movies. The Monarch in the movies is more, they are, as an organization, they have more integrity. But we get to see Monarch at its earliest days, how they get the military funding, and the how they consistently have to make they have to make decisions that are maybe not the best decisions if they want to keep that funding and keep that access and keep that reach. Um, and like I said, the first three episodes are really, really good. Episode 4 and 5, not so much, because you begin to learn. And I get it. We have entered an age where nobody likes the straight up hero. Everybody wants more complicated. They want more complex heroes. People who aren't goody goody. But and that's great. I mean, Loki is how you do that character exceptionally well. In this series, however, by the time you get to the end of episode 5, you realize, yeah, you were rooting for the sister. You find out, and they take this all the way back to they take it to a degree all the way back to the Godzilla that had Ferris Bueller Boy in it. There are connections. They start talking about things where you're like, oh wait, that connects to, in some ways
the
it's,
Matthew Broderick one.
yes, they actually, the test footage that they do at the beginning of that movie for the opening, they do that by episode 5. They do a flashback and you're seeing that test. And it's like, okay, so they don't acknowledge that as part of this sort of canon, but they're using that. So it's like, oh, okay, so they are kind of grabbing all their ducks and putting them in the world. And they introduced 2 new titans. By now, they're not kaiju, they're titans, is what they're calling the creatures. One is Scarecrow. He would love it here in Chicago. Well, no, he sucks the heat out of stuff. So he will, if you're like, say, if you have a campfire, he's on the ground, he can sense that campfire. He can come up and he'll suck all the heat out the campfire. And if you unfortunately have to be too close to that campfire, he gonna suck the heat out of you too. So it's, and a bat thing that, oh my goodness, how it got this ship from the ocean in one place to an island in the Philippines is beyond me, because I didn't think it was big enough for that, but it did do it. They have some really interesting new creatures, but the kids, the sister that you're rooting for, by the end of episode 5, you want to push her off a cliff and feed her to something. Because when we first see her, she and how they tied it into the Bryan Cranston Godzilla. She was in San Francisco when it happened. She was a teacher. She was getting kids off. They had got kids onto a school bus to evacuate them. They were on that bridge. She gets maybe a third of the kids off when the bridge goes, and takes the bus and all the rest of the kids with it. And she's suffering from PTSD. So when things get really tense, like kaiju shows up, she freaks out totally, you know. And you start to feel for her. Your heart starts to break for her because you realize she keeps going back to that moment. Then you realize the reason she keeps going back to that moment because she, after being ticked that daddy had two families who didn't know about it, turns out she's doing the same thing. She got two different girlfriends. She ain't told either of them about the other. And it's like, okay, you know what, girl? You just lost me. All that stuff you did to build my goodwill, and I'm caring about you. You having PTSD attacks. This other girl is helping to talk you down and get you through it because you about to, you look like you about to crap out. Now you just proved you just a chip off your daddy's old block. And it was like, okay, you know what? I'm not sure if I'm gonna watch any more of this. Then the girlfriend of the brother, the ex-girlfriend of the brother, it turns out at the end of that series is also she's acting as a double agent. So she was a character I was kind of feeling for her because, okay, you ghosted her. You quit. Your dad died. You quit talking to her. You wouldn't return her. She was saying, I was trying to call you. You wouldn't return my emails, no text messages, nothing. All of a sudden you show up and you want me to crack this for you. So you get while she's angry. And then she gets dragged into the situation. Then you find out she's helping Monarch keep an eye on them. So she's quietly stabbing them in the back. It's like, is there anybody in this series other than the Russell men who are decent? Because the women, I'm looking at the women going, okay, I would feed y'all. I would find the nearest kaiju and just feed you both to them. Because obviously y'all done played with my emotions, and then you tell me, oh, we ain't worth the trouble. It's like, okay, you know what? I don't know if I'm gonna watch another episode. I was at the point of going, I really feel bad because you can only watch it on Apple. And I'm gonna tell you, I don't know if it would be worth paying for Apple just to see this. On the one hand, yes, the effects are good. It's beautiful. It's cinematically shot. So visually, it is really good. The opening with John Goodman, love that. Like I said, episodes 1, 2, 3, fleek. After that, boom. I'm gonna be honest. I don't know if Media Nights, and they were like, they didn't know if they were gonna do anymore. So it'll be a week before I know if they watch another one, but I don't know if I will bother to take that journey. So there you have it.
Well,
That
you
sounds
kind of
terrible.
made me not want to think about it here because, again, you describe a couple of the characters, and I'm like, that's just poor writing.
And
I just believe stuff like that is just poor writing. It's like person who has PSTD and you put them in the middle of a situation where the father is a part of a organization that deals directly with kaijus, which means that dear old dad knew something about why I have this mysterious PSTD, and then you get like father like daughter, or like father like his siblings situations. It's like,
well,
yeah,
it turns out their grandmother, his mom, their grandparent helped start it. And one character points out when they're talking about Kurt Russell's character, it's like, shouldn't he be in his 90s? And they're like, yeah, he should be going towards 100. It's like, that is not a guy who looks like he's in his 90s. So we know there's some mystery, and what they're doing is they're giving you little bits. They're not giving it all to you at once, but it's like, okay, I get that. And I love the layered storytelling. You take us back and then you bring us forward and you show how this connects with that. And as we continue to go along, you're continuing to give us the breadcrumbs so that we'll continue going on this journey. And like I said, the first 3 episodes in that regard, when it was just them, when we were finding out more about the mystery, because they didn't know about Monarch. When the girl goes to Japan, they're showing how Japan has got everything. I mean, the cab driver they go under a bridge, and on top of that bridge, they've got missiles. They got missile launchers set. But the Japanese cab driver tells her, "Oh, that stuff in San Francisco, that was all CGI." And the look on her face, the look on her face, she's like, "Oh, okay." And when she gets out, and you can tell by the look in her face, it's like, "No, baby, that was real." Because the look on her face says, "No, baby, I was there." But you can tell she doesn't. She's in no mood to get into that argument with him. She just wants to get where she's trying to get. And like I said, they didn't know what Monarch was, but the more they try to find out about what's happened to their dad, because he was in San Francisco. And then he disappeared. And I at first thought he was dude who he was let them fight. I thought at first he was the let them fight dude, from the first 2 movies and it's like, oh, well, he might be dead because that guy took, he gave Godzilla the uranium, he set off that bomb so that Godzilla could get re-energized underwater. So I don't think he's around anymore. And it's like, and I had to look, and it's like, okay, it's not that guy. This is a different guy. But still, like I said, they started really well. And then by the time 5 came around, I was like, okay. But I guess they have built enough of an audience that they got season 2. Which for Apple, seems to be their way with things. Hey, Leia, because anybody who's ever read Asimov, I've read the Foundation series. I've read most of the books in the Foundation series. And the Cleon character, the Emperor of the Galaxy, is at best a secondary character that by book 3, it's pretty much like 2 paragraphs out of the book that he's mentioned. But Apple has kind of retconned that series because Lee Pace as Brother Day has turned that character. It might as well be the Brother Day show, because that's what they just want to see him fighting folks naked. Because he's very popular, especially naked. Fighting folks. I don't explain it any more than the fact, if I explain any more than that, we're going to get smacked. And we don't have our TMA. Joe, you didn't put the TMA thing up there, so they're going to come after me. But it would not be the first time that Apple has, maybe they got notes and they messed around with it, or the kids that have watched the show identify more with these kids. I have found that listening to people watching people do discussions about superhero movies, why so many people liked Loki, but towards the end didn't like him because
by the way, blame Elaine. Blame Elaine.
Blame me for what?
I put it up there now.
Oh, okay. There we go. I've heard people get upset because, Loki found his purpose. He's not evil anymore. It's like, well, the whole point of is suggesting that maybe he was understood because he kind of had a feeling that he was meant for this great purpose, but his ambition outweighed his ability to figure it out. And it took this situation to pull him out of things so he could look at it from a different perspective and then go on that journey to find his purpose. But it's like a lot of kids, they want the heroes who are screw ups. And if in other words, they want the heroes who are screw ups. And if they fix something, it's more out of an accident as opposed to them being heroic. It's like, oh, you just happen to show up at the right time and kill the monster.
No.
Again, why did people have a major hard time with the last Power Rangers movie then, if that was the case?
It's the thing about Loki is all these little teenage girls who order off of Temu because they can't afford Hot Topic thinks he's hot.
Well, he is.
So
I've seen
that's
him
where it all
naked.
came from.
I've seen him naked. He's hot.
His
seen him naked.
story was not supposed to be that big until he caught fire with that crowd. So that's why they Loki'd everything. Which annoys the hell out of me, because all you have to do is pick up any Thor comic throughout history, and Loki is the god of mischief and the god of evil, not the god of misunderstood emo-ness. That drives me up the damn wall.
Yeah, they retconned it, but
that got even retconned to a certain degree in the modern incarnations of the Thor comic.
After the movie, after all these little girls,
a little bit before the movie, when they actually started to change his origin to about him actually being a frost giant, and the whole thing about the seven realms and how Odin brought the seven realms back into harmony and all the deals that he made.
He was a frost. I remember reading in the 80s with Walter Simonson, he was a frost.
Oh, definitely not Simonson. We thought about early 2000s Thor. Early 2000s Thor. It's like,
I'm saying
I like Simonson's Thor. I go back to that as my canon.
He was a frost giant back then.
Well, but the thing about it is that he never knew the history. That he always thought that he was just like Thor, like I was born of Odin. It wasn't until he found out that his real father was a frost giant, and the treaty itself, because he never understood about the treaty. He never understood the backstory about why he was there in Asgard with Odin. He never understood that.
I will say I've enjoyed the Loki Agent of Asgard book. I got it on Kindle and I've enjoyed it. I did enjoy the Loki series. It was an interesting take on the Loki character. It gave him an arc that I was not expecting, because I grew up reading classic Thor, and Loki was always, this was the guy who kidnapped Storm, and the New Mutants had to go get her and bring her back. And the only way they could literally get her is they had to go tell the Warriors 3 to tell Thor to tell him to leave that woman alone so that they could take her back to Earth, because he was trying to find someone that he could use who could beat the crap out of Thor. And she had all these lovely, elemental powers that he thought if he mind banged her, he could then use to his advantage. So that is the Loki I grew up on, and in the case of Loki, though, you had an actor like Tom Hiddleston, who is Shakespeare to his core, who is, you couldn't have got a better actor to do that character than unless you had gotten Alan Rickman, because he wants to make sure that we need to make this make sense. And we need to do it in a way, he sat down before they even started production. He did classes with actors and crew saying, this is Loki 101 as we're doing it for this show. And he just, he actually just said, hey, this is where we're going. This is how we're going to do it. And they were lucky they got him. But there are other actors who they have stuck and did that same story. It would have been, poop on toast.
And there's the fly in the ointment. Why is the actor who does Shakespeare, who probably has only read 4 comic books in his entire life, sitting down telling production how this character is going to be?
He actually did go back and start reading the comics.
You could not convince me of that from watching him.
Okay.
Actually, you can, because the first thing that came back to my mind, which is why I understand why Elaine likes it, and the reason why I believe where you kind of started disliking him, I always go back to the first Avengers movie and his speech to the Hulk. And I think that
I
was
am a
classic,
god, you dull creature.
and that was classic Loki.
That
What he said to the Hulk is classic Simonson Loki. And
yes,
what Hulk did to him afterwards was classic Hulk.
yeah, that was just puny
And,
god.
and Cliff, you cannot deny that. That was
No, I can't. It's just like they had some elements of Loki in all the Thor movies, but the whole idea that this, that, and the other, no. Loki, you can look at Norse mythology, you can look at whatever you want to. Loki has always been the antagonist to Thor. He
exactly.
hasn't been he hasn't been this tortured soul who nobody understands. Oh, poor baby. It's
He
okay for
wasn't
someone
a
to be a
misunderstood brother and all this other
it's
stuff.
okay to be a bad guy. Just like Venom makes no sense anymore because he's not a bad guy. He's whatever the hell he is now.
Well,
Just like
also,
the Punisher makes no a killer. If you try to make him this, that, and the other, it doesn't work. He is a
except
murderer.
one of the things you learn as a writer
Hmm.
is that in the mind of the villain, he is the hero of his story. The
That's
villain,
what makes Doom Doom, and that's why I can't
Well,
stand
see,
what
that's
because
everybody
in
cannot
his
write
mind.
Doctor Doom. Everybody cannot write
Well,
Doctor Doom
well,
correctly.
Lex Luthor believes that he is the hero of his story,
and
but he
that
is
is
the villain, and everything you see him do shows that villainous side of him. They've tried to redeem him like a dozen times, and it
Okay,
never works.
okay. I gotta throw a penalty flag on that one. Since you're going to bring up
okay.
Lex Luthor,
Oh no.
now since you're bringing up Lex Luthor, I have a problem with that last statement here because Luthor was not inherently evil. He may be selfish, he's prideful, but when the chips are down and he sees a way to make it to his advantage, not meaning that he's evil, but if he could do something good to his advantage, he would do it. He
Yeah.
does not see himself as a villain. People around him will say that he's evil, but he is not inherently a villain, kind of like how I would see like a dark side or a Mongol.
There's different levels of evil, though,
Yes, and like I said,
and
if
that and
as a writer, one of the things we're taught is in the from the from the villain's point of view, he is right in his choices. Even if you don't agree with the choices that he makes, as far as he is concerned or she is concerned, they are right in their choices. Even when they do monstrous things,
yes,
they
but
still view themselves as this is my righteous cause.
well,
Even
yeah,
if he
that's
is the outsider sitting there going, oh, please, if that's a righteous cause, we need to just burn the planet down because, baby, it is still in the eyes of your villain. He is the hero of his story, and it is and his cause is righteous and just. No matter how the rest of the world will view it in his eyes. Not we're not saying how you as the audience member sitting there viewing this thing and going, okay, you need about 6 centuries worth of psychotherapy and a whole bunch of medication. Those of us sitting there are sitting there looking at that from his point of view or her point of view, you know. And as I start to learn things from a psychological standpoint, um, that is that is actually from their point of view, they're in the right. And if you actually ever questioned someone who was an abuser in some way or another, some religious, some crazy theological, crazy person or whatnot, in their view, they're in the right. Their cause is righteous. They're doing what they need to do for whatever, you know. It's like the child who, instead of dealing with his own fear, bullies everybody around him because he really can't deal with the idea of, what if they see the real me? What if I'm alone? What if I am bad? You know, and it's stuff that's coming from something that has nothing to do with the other kids around him that he's bullying. But what he's dealing with, he can't face for whatever reason. And this is an easy outlet. They don't see it that way. But, you know, you're thinking about points of view.
Yes.
Well,
From Charles Manson's point of view, he was in the right.
Yes. And he was
But
psychotic.
he's still in jail. So he wasn't.
well, it's like the best way I could put it to you, Cliff. Here, let's take going back to Lex Luthor for a second. Earth 2 Lex Luthor versus Earth 3 Lex Luthor.
Mm-hmm.
They're the same character. Why is Earth 3 considered a hero and Earth 2 considered a villain?
Because on Earth 3, everything's switched. He's a hero because Superman's evil. And in Earth 2, he's a villain because there's Superman.
What made Ultraman evil? In Earth 2, you had King Superman stories where he acted all out of pocket and everything to that magnitude, but yet Superman is still a hero.
That's because that wasn't Superman. That was imaginary stories or kryptonite stories, something that changed him. Now, if we go by the Smallville definition of Lex Luthor, he was changed because his daddy was mean to him, but he was still a bad guy.
Okay,
if you go by the Silver Age, he hated Superman because when he was living in Smallville, his Superboy Super Breath blew his experiment back on him and made him bald. He's still a bad guy.
Well, let's go back even further than that. When they introduced Lex Luthor, he was a prison jumpsuit wearing villain. They purposely made him that way. That doesn't necessarily mean that he himself is a villain. That's just a paradigm that stuck. Now we went from that incarnation of prison suit Lex Luthor to a Lex Luthor that had became president, that had gained the confidence of the entire world as an upstanding citizen. He has his evil tendencies. He has his ego streaks here. He has made a lot of bad dealings and everything, but yet he's not inherently evil. But because of canon, the way that we look at canon in these stories, we go all the way back to, oh, he was originally set up as a villain back in the day with his good old fashioned prison jumpsuit. And we just keep that happening. That's the reason why I brought up Earth 3. Earth 3, he was essentially that same character, the same prison jumpsuit wearing villain. But when he got out and we saw what was happening with all these superpowered characters in Earth 3, he did what he could to save humanity. Just like this Lex Luthor has at times did what he could to save humanity as he see fit. It's not really a point of view. It's just what we take to heart as canon. And are we willing to let that go for the paradigm shift for the type of story that was being told at that time? So it not necessarily mean that Loki is a bad character because of what the movies did. Look at what the movies did as its own incarnation, its own universe, and that's the way that they're going to portray him, as opposed to Walt Simonson, which I agree. The Walt Simonson version is the stronger version of Loki, because Loki would get down and dirty, even more dirty than what they've been doing in these TV series and whatnot.
Also, it should be pointed out
portrayal
in Norse mythology, Loki was as oftentimes the hero of a story as he was the villain, because he got the Norse gods out of jams. As often as he got them into them, it was Loki. Remember, Loki got pregnant. He had to turn himself into a female horse so he could lead off this horse, because this dwarf was doing what they didn't think he could do. And it's like, okay, we got to figure out how to trip this guy up. And so they actually got, what can you do? So he's like, fine. He turns himself to a horse, a female horse, to seduce this guy's stallion. So it'll leave him and he can't do this work. And then he ends up he gets knocked up and gives birth to a baby horse. So there are times the situation with Loki was always shifting, because there are times when he was there to get them out of messes. Yes, he got them into messes, but he also got them out of them. There were things that Loki was not necessarily the one creating a mess, but they had made an agreement to this, that, or the other, and got to the point of, oh, we can't fix this. Loki! And Loki had to get up and go, okay, I ain't birthing no more horses, though. And had to come in there. So even in
Scandinavians are weird.
But even in those old Scandinavian myths, he was not totally the villain. And the point at which he does lead the rebellion in regards to his children against the Norse gods, it's also because they automatically decided his children were monsters and should be killed on sight. Children that he had to bear. Some of them he gave birth to, others his wife bore for him. So, if you think about it, Loki, even in the old Norse mythologies, is a very complex individual. And there are times when Loki is the good guy, and then there are times when Loki is the bad guy, and then there are times where it goes a little bit of this and a little bit of that. Sorry.
It's perspective. But my last example will be one of my favorite modern video games, not a remake or a sequel of a game from before, is The Last of Us. There's the show with Pedro Pascal in it, and it's about the end of the world due to the fungus zombies and this, that, and the other.
I know, because poor Laura Bailey took a lot of heat because she played a character that killed the character that Pedro Pascal is playing in the TV show, and she got death threats over that, even though
the game and in the show, you go through the journey with Joel and with Ellie, making your way to Seattle or Wyoming or wherever the hell they were going. I don't remember now. You get there because Ellie is the only person that's immune to the cordyceps fungus. They get there, and the only way to find if there's a cure is they have to cut Ellie's brain open and kill her. They are confident they can find a vaccine that will cure this, and we can start rebuilding the world. Joel, who had become attached to Ellie, did not like the idea of her having to die.
Mm-hmm.
So Joel killed every man and woman in that hospital, murdered them, some of them begging him not to.
So instead of just getting the girl out,
to save Ellie,
he commits
which is why
a
he
lot
got
of
killed
murder,
in the second game. Joel is not a hero because Joel made a selfish choice for himself. His need to be with this new surrogate daughter because he lost his, as opposed to the greater good. He's portrayed as a hero, but he is not. He even tells you he is not a good man. So it's all a matter of how you look at it. To Ellie, he's her new daddy.
And he saved her. But to the people in the game, when Laura Bailey's character takes him out. He
lied to her. She did not know he saved her.
Okay.
He told her that because she was drugged and asleep, because they weren't going to cut into her brain while she was awake. He said, "Oh, the cure's all a hoax. There are a dozen kids just like you. They can't do anything with you, so they let you go." It wasn't until years later, and Ellie was grown, she found out the truth, and she didn't want anything to do with Joel anymore because she said, My death, my life was supposed to mean something, and you took that away from me.
Her
Later
death
on,
would not have been without meaning.
she realized how much she loved her surrogate daddy after he was killed by people who saw him as the bad guy.
Mm-hmm.
And then she went on her revenge tour 2099 to get rid of all of them. Joel's not a hero. Just like Barry Allen's not a hero. Because Barry Allen created the New 52, which was villainy by itself, but he did it because he was sad he missed his mama and he screwed up the universe.
Because he
It's
didn't.
a little bit more than that, but yeah, that's the
There was only a little bit
that's
more.
the Arkham Razor version of it.
That was at the time of the New 52. There was no Dr. Manhattan. There was none of this. It said in Flashpoint, you have no control over the Speed Force. You cannot travel through time. You smash through time and space like a sledgehammer through a windshield to get what you wanted. And that's how we got the Flashpoint universe with the evil Aquaman with his red shirt on, where you knew he was evil. And you got
Oh,
Wonder Woman with her weirdo whatever, and you got skinny Superman and Joe's favorite Thomas Wayne Batman, all because Barry Allen was selfish. And then when he went back to try to fix it, that's when it screwed up even worse, and we got the New 52, and everybody was running around in body condoms.
See, you forgot the one thing that happened before Barry Allen did that.
If you bring up Pandora, I may scream.
No, I'm not going to bring up Pandora. No, I'm not going to bring up. I'm not going to bring up that. I'm not going to bring up that. I'm going to bring up one person, Eobard Thawne. What did Eobard Thawne do before Barry did what he did? Eobard warned him. He said, "It's nothing you could do to stop me from killing your mom. You don't understand the greater significance of doing that."
Yes.
And so, no matter how fast you run and how many times you attempt to go back in time, you cannot stop this from happening.
Yes. That doesn't mean he had anything to do with it. He was telling the truth. That's like when I tell the 8-year-old, honey, every time you walk off the couch and fall through the air onto the ground, it hurts. Don't do it. And when she gets up and does it again, that's not my fault.
No,
I'm not the bad guy.
It's like you tell her, it's like you can't break the law of gravity. If you break the law of gravity, there's consequences. That's pretty much what you're saying. But yet that's not going to stop a character from doing what he's going to do.
Barry's an 8-year-old. Mm-hmm.
So Barry is the I just want my mommy.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, right. It is the child that has not had a change. That is the wounded child that has not matured to accept that mom's gone. To bring mom back could do more harm than good. All he knows is mommy's gone and I want my mommy back.
Yes.
It's kind of like, there's that point. I keep thinking Princess Bride. When Inigo is finally fighting his nemesis. And he's making this, I'll give you this, I'll give you that, whatever you want. He goes, I just want my father back. And he kills him. And at that point, you realize he's realized, if I kill this man, it's not going to bring my father back. But at least the man who killed my father isn't breathing anymore. It's that sense of, eye for an eye. And you get it in many ways. Inigo is kind of an injured, he is the wounded child. Daddy got taken from me. And because he says, he's learned how to use this sword. He's become a master of it. Just so he can walk up to this guy and go, hello, my name is Inigo Montoya. You killed my father. Prepare to die. He has, for all the good he does, he is it is the actions of a wounded child. And what I'm understanding in Barry Allen's case, it is the actions of a wounded child. He never deals with that grief. He lost his mommy. He wants his mommy back. He doesn't. That's a small child screaming, "Mommy's gone and I want mommy back." And it doesn't. And the more you try to reason, the more the child gets upset and just starts screaming because it doesn't want to hear the truth. It just wants this impossible thing.
But
And some
And
people, you grow up, you get older, you go and you learn to deal with it. And others, at their core, that's the thing that drives them in everything they do.
but
uh,
Elaine, the person who killed his mother was the one that warned him, "You cannot do this."
Doesn't
That's the part.
matter.
That's the major problem. And this is a guy that was how many centuries into the future, and he
20.
actually came. And he actually did the same experiment and came back because he was so much of a fan of Barry Allen of wanting to be a Flash that he took it too far.
Mm-hmm. Now,
But the,
who was Parallax? Flashpoint was always supposed to be a universe rebooting thing. It was supposed to be our generation's Crisis on Infinite Earths. That's why all the DC books had a run up at the top of the cover that said Flashpoint, the road to Flashpoint, Flashpoint. The this will change the DC universe. The DC universe will never be the same. Just like worlds will live, worlds will die. The DC universe will never be the same again. Flashpoint was planned to be what started the New 52. And the New 52 was supposed to be we were supposed to still be in the middle of the New 52 now
Mm-hmm.
because there was never supposed to be a way back. But they failed so
Well, they
spectacularly.
canceled G6 because
No, they would not have done 5G if New 52 didn't fail because all it was about rebooting everything for the next generation. There was never going to be anything else except the New 52 universe. And there was all of them got it. The Dan Dito, all of them got it. There's no way out. There's no way back. This is the DC universe going forward. And if it was the success they wanted it to be, we would still be right now 10, 12, 13 years after the fact, we would still be seeing Body Condom Superman and Mighty Morphin Power Ranger costume Flash and all these other ones because that was the plan. It didn't work. They went ahead and they started to do Rebirth. Jeff Johns got kicked out. Dan DiDio decided we're still going to make this reboot work. We're just going to move it even further away. We're going to go into 5G. If the New 52 would have kept the strong sales it did from the beginning, there would have been no mention of 5G, no mention of Rebirth, none of that.
they're like
so
Wiley
we would have
Coyote.
never got Yara Flor. We would have never got Jonathan Kent. We would have never got a lot of the characters that. Wow.
No,
It's Wiley Coyote thinking. When you think about it, it's Wiley Coyote thinking. Wiley thinks he's got a way that he's gonna catch that Roadrunner. And he's worked it out. He's set up and done his diagrams and everything, and boom, it doesn't work. I know what I did wrong. I know what I did wrong. He goes back to the drawing board. It screws up again. I know what I did wrong. I know what I did wrong. You just can't leave well enough alone because you want it in your. It's like you get these guys and suddenly you give them the ability to play God. And they want to remake the world in their image instead of honoring what came before and moving it forward. It's like, no, we want to make it the way we want to make it. And then first people went, yay. And then they actually started reading that stuff and went, dang. and then it was like, we know what we did wrong. We know what we did wrong. And they set off and they're going to create this new thing to replace the thing that they created that was supposed to be the new thing, except now it's even worse. Every time they decide they're going to recreate it, it just gets worse. When they should have, there's an old saying, leave well enough alone. And they did not do that. And because and there is that sort of child, again, you have this wounded child going, I know the best way to do this character. This is how it should be done. And they don't. Because there's no adult. The child brain is screaming. And the adult brain doesn't know how to tell it to shut the F up and go have a lollipop.
Now, Joe, you're probably going to be even more mad at me than normal, but my favorite.
I have an anecdote.
My favorite.
I have an anecdote for what Elaine said, but I'm going to keep it until you finish here.
My favorite character from the Flashpoint universe is still the Canterbury Cricket, and I'm very sad they never did anything with him after Flashpoint.
That's interesting.
I don't know that character.
That doesn't make me mad. That makes me go like, huh, that's very interesting.
I don't know that character.
Canterbury. I love the Canterbury Cricket, and the fact that the Outsider was back, Alfred in his bikini shorts. But yeah.
I'm sorry, I shouldn't be laughing, but I've tried to picture Alfred in bikinis. Oh goodness, I'm gonna need a drink.
Yeah, I love the Canterbury Cricket. I was real upset that he only had it was either a one shot or he was in two separate issues. But that was my favorite character. I was like, this is the coolest thing ever.
And that should be in the B list booster soon. It should be.
Yes. Yeah, hey, we might have to do that. Clyde got to do 2 this year. I'm going to do 2 next year.
How did that go? Did you guys have fun?
Oh yeah, I always have fun with that. It's a running joke that the only reason I'm on there is I make Clyde look even better because they always let him go first, and he's so well spoken and prepared and eloquent and all that. And then there's me, and I'm like, hey,
you did Grayson did really well.
Oh, Grayson did great. It was that was a fun time. But yeah, no, I love doing the B-list thing with Clyde. I'll do it every year they ask me to, but yeah, it never fails. Clyde always goes first, and it's like, all right, Cliff, follow that, and I'm like,
that's how everybody feels with Clyde because Clyde
goes
first. You're like, I read a book and it was stuff in it, and I liked it, and you should read it too.
It had pretty pictures. Superman with pow. Bad guy with to do. It was a great story.
And usually, at least there are a few other people on the panel with us that, it kind of evens out. They're like, okay, well, there's just Clyde and then all these other people. But it was just me and him this year. And he went, and then I went. And it was like the host was like, okay, good job, little Billy. Clyde, your turn to talk again. So I was in the middle. I'm like, oh, Jesus.
Oh, no. So was Kelly hosting that or somebody else?
No, it was Hollis. I've never met him before. It was my first time introduced to him.
Okay, because I was about to say, Kelly, I loved Kelly. She was a lot of fun.
Kelly was actually fun. And last year, we had Clyde as our moderator.
Yes.
And so Clyde did double duty. Clyde actually did double duty.
The guy who was in charge of all of it actually got on board with us. And it was like, and DC Chen was watching, and he was so happy, and he's gonna kill me because I did not do I didn't get his book in time. So and I don't know since I didn't get it in time, I don't know if it qualified for what they wanted this year. So I feel really bad, DC, if you're watching this. Yes, come to DC, come to C2E2, yell at me, Panda. I get it. I have it coming. But, Clyde makes everybody look like that he's got all the brain power. And if you're lucky, you might get 2 cells to, rub together and go, oh. So that's just part of being with Clyde. He's the elder statesman for a reason.
Again, what did the intro say when he was on the show? He's the elder statesman. He's the elder statesman. He is the reason why you're watching the show. He is the reason why you're watching this. Not because of me, not because of Elaine, not because of you, Cliff. No. He's the reason because he just have that way of just making it like pop for some reason.
Yeah, and every year he pops, and then there's me to make it go.
No, it's not.
You don't give yourself.
You don't make it go. what
You don't
happens
give
is like
yourself enough credit.
here's high level academia, and then suck. And that's perfectly fine. That's perfectly fine. You can reach those people who are like, okay, I don't. It's like Clyde made it seem so highfalutin, but I like Cliff because he speaks my language.
Yes.
It goes from the Harvard professor to the guy screaming behind the Goodyear. So yeah,
But
I
that's
understand.
okay because there are a lot of guys who buy comics who were screaming behind the Goodyear. You speak their language. They're going, I know that guy, he understands me. It's okay. We each, there aren't that many crazy 65-year-old black chicks running around going, yeah, let me read my comics. But the few that are out there are going, I like her. She speaks my language. So I'm here for them.
Just like how Grace said, I'm the grumpy uncle. I play that grumpy uncle to the best of my ability. I would do it from this point forward.
I'm
But
the crazy
really
lady.
grumpy.
I'm the crazy lady. I didn't. My computer was wonky, and I had to go out and come back. So I missed part of what you said when you at the beginning when you were talking about when you and Gracie was doing it. Grace.
You didn't miss much. But I know we're just like jumping all around with tangents tonight, and I don't want to take us further off comment. But Missy Lane saying the thing about being the crazy 65-year-old woman made me think of something I had to share with you guys, just so you have my pain.
Okay.
I went to the dentist this week, because I'm getting some of those implant dentures put in, and I had to go in to get my mold made. And I did not realize that one of the steps was they put hot wax in my mouth and told me to stand still.
Oh no!
Ouch!
Oh
but
no!
Apparently, it was idiot day at the dentist, because I'm sitting there holding this in my mouth, and they're telling me not to move. And most dentist offices nowadays are all open, where you can hear everything going on.
And there's about 50 people screaming.
And in the room across from me, there's this dude. I don't know who he is. All I can see is his hairy legs because he's got on a pair of shorts. And the dental assistant walks out of the room and says, "Ma'am," to talking to the doctor in there with me. He wants to know if he can do his mold while he's standing up. I'm like, what? And the dentist is like, okay. And then I'll look out of the corner of my eye. This little bitty old lady comes out of the waiting room, walks into the room with this large, hairy man, and sticks her finger up at him and goes, "You sit down now."
That's me and Charles.
I'm holding this stuff in my mouth where I can't move. And I'm trying
so hard.
I'm trying so hard. And I finally calmed down from that. And then in the room next to me is a little old lady. I can see her out of the corner of my eye. And the little dental assistant comes there and goes, "Hi, Miss So-and-so. I'm going over the notes from your periodontist." And the old lady goes, "I hate that damn man." And the girl goes,
after my own heart.
And the girl goes, "Oh, okay. It says here in his notes though that you rinse your mouth out with Clorox." And the lady goes, "Yeah, I like how refreshed my mouth feels. What about it?" I was done. I was like,
tortured.
Y'all got to get this out of my mouth.
Tortured. You was literally tortured because I'm up there. It's like, how do you keep a straight face with that thing in your mouth and you cannot laugh?
I'm waiting to get a call saying I have to come do it again because I moved too much. But yes, I'm just like, what kind of dentist am I at? So yeah.
You're at county medical, darling, and they take everybody who can afford they either can afford to pay or they got the insurance. So
yeah. Oh, but yeah, that
it's like, yeah, where's my house? I look like this. I like how it's wretched.
Yeah, I rinse my Clorox because I love the way it makes my breath smell when I'm done. I'm sorry.
Oh. Yes.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. No.
Courtney thinks
See,
I have lost my mind.
my bias already gone there because now I'm up
Oh,
there. It's like, you know what? Those are the type of people that would have taken a certain person seriously that said, "Oh, just
and
drink the Clorox
injected
and it will clear itself up." I'm like,
yes.
no.
Oh my goodness. I was thinking we were reaching there because I had the same thought. Yeah,
I
but
rinse my mouth out with Clorox because I like the way how refreshed my mouth feels afterwards.
I'd seen something similar. I can't remember the it was a movie or TV show where this chick was saying how she washed her hair with Pine Sol because it it cleared up it rinsed out all the grease. And I'm
Oh, okay.
thinking, okay, dokie, you wash your hair with Pine Sol because this other woman's going, oh, your hair is so soft. What do you use? She goes, Pine Sol. I was just looking at her like, okay, I need
Well,
to
yeah,
go in this direction.
I was in high school in the mid '90s, so when most of the hair dyeing craze with girls and guys really hit its peak.
When I was
And
raising babies.
I was in school. This girl in my Spanish class. She came to school and her hair was like neon red. And she said, I didn't have any dye at the house, so I used cherry jello to dye my hair.
Yep.
And I am not lying. In the middle of class, she had jello falling out of her damn head.
Oh my god.
Because it's melting. The heat in the scalp is melting it. When I was a girl, there was a craze. I don't know if anybody ever told you, Joe, but there was a craze where you would black girls would bleach a spot in their hair so it would turn orange. And some of them look good. My cousin Sonia did it, and just it was like, ooh, that color's good on your skin type. My Aunt Julia did it. It was like, child, why did you let them? There's a point at which you really don't do something because so and so down the street got it done too. As the old folks used to say, if your friend Floyd told you they were selling butt kickings down the street, would you go? And he was gonna get one. Would you go get one too? It was just, it was various levels of success, and some of them looked really good, and others is like, oh, child, you'd have done better if you just stuck your finger in the socket. Just suck your finger and stick it in the socket and go wee, because that's just scary. It was like the Jerry curl. How
Mm.
Oh
Jerry
yeah.
made everybody was making so many people's hair fall out because it's like, yeah, there's a reason so and so in Hollywood because they have hairstylists, and if something falls out, they get it weaved back in. That is just not something unless you can pay $500, $1,000 a week for the specialist to do your hair like that. That's not meant for you.
I'm glad that Cliff said the thing about the Jello because yeah, I remember girls back then doing that type of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You wanted to get that particular look, or and I grew up at a time I was a weirdo because I didn't know how to sew. I took home ec. I sewed a I sewed a sundress and an apron, and neither of them. It was just like, is that supposed to be that way? And it was like, that's why I failed. And my dad was like, will they let you take wood shop? And luckily, they let me take wood shop, and I passed. So not all of us are meant to do the same thing.
No,
Oh,
you meant to work with your hands, but not in that
and
category.
but you know, we're told this is what you should be,
Yeah,
as
just like how
opposed
they
to
took me out
what
of drafting.
you know,
They took me out. They took me out of drafting, and put me in regular art because I was too
So
heavy handed.
Mm-hmm.
And like I
yeah,
said, it's like it wasn't the fact that I couldn't do the work. It was just the fact that the instructor was very hard. He was very harsh, and he knew exactly what he was doing. He was going to prepare us to be actual real draftsmen.
Not everybody can be an actual real draftsman.
And
There are
then,
really great artists who are not great draftsmen. That's just the whole point of it. And I get it. One of the things I learned is, like in home ec, people have a system of teaching, and either you can adjust and learn that system and do well in it, or you find out, oh, I'm not meant for this. I had the most fun in woodshop. I think I was the only girl that passed
I
that
was
didn't need assistance. He had me helping other people with their projects, and then said, oh, you've done everything you need to do. Go over there and beat all those guys playing chess. So, so that's how I spent half my year in woodshop, was beating dudes at chess. They didn't let girls join the chess
but
team at that time.
well, that was the thing with my case with drafting. I never got the opportunity. It's like the very first time that they saw that my counselors and stuff saw I was getting a C average, and they started investigating, and it was like, he's doing the work and everything, yada yada yada. And they talked to the instructor, and the instructor is like, no, he knows exactly what he's doing, but they told him, like, I'm just too heavy handed. He has to do it this way, this way, this way, this way, this way, this way to pass. And if he's doing it, doing the work, it's like I never got a chance to try to adjust.
I'm so sorry.
They took me out of it, because it would have been that would have been an extra added skill to have, to be able to do drafting, to bring into comics when I do the Bristol boards and stuff. I mean, I got the basic stuff down, but because it was what it was.
But luckily, you were able to find. It's not stopping you from going on your path.
Mm-hmm.
I hated math, especially since when I was a freshman in high school, my counselor said, you're reading at a college level and you're 14. It's like, yeah, what can I say? I like Shakespeare. And she said, well, if you're reading at a college level, why did you apply for basic math? It's because we have to take math, and I suck at math. And so I'm going to take basic arithmetic. And she said, no, you read at a college level, you need to take algebra. And it's like, but I can't do algebra. I suck at algebra. It's like, I'm better at, because she said, you're also taking biology. It's like, yeah, because I know I'm better at biology than chemistry. And, so, but she got up and decided, you read at a college level, so I'm going to tell you what classes you can take. And I said, no. And then she called my dad and told him, and he said, well, you're going to do what she tells you to do. And then I failed, because nobody wanted to hear me out to say, yes, I can read at a college level, but I couldn't beat a fifth grader in basic math. So let me take basic math and at least get a C, so I can have a BC average. Because over in biology, I was a B student. English, A+ all the way. But then, they screwed my average because I failed algebra. And
Don't feel bad. I can't do modern 6th grade math, and I'm supposed to be the homeschool teacher. So,
well, I can't do it either. So I can't. I can help you with art.
Is this the part where I have to turn my camera off?
No, I can help
Because
you with
I'm the
art
one.
and
I'm the one
literature.
that got the degree and was taking courses such as multivariable calculus and number theory and discrete logic.
He's got the big brain.
No,
So
I got the analytical brain. I mean, I'm not the best in math, but let's just say that my senior year in high school, they couldn't offer me a math because it would have forced them to put me in a college class.
So between the three of us, she can pass any test. Because
okay.
I can help with the English language stuff and the art.
Mm-hmm.
I got that.
Long as we're not getting into like differential equation, multivariable calculus and stuff like that, math is not going to be that
She's
hard.
what?
Unless they change rules to stuff. Unless they change the rules to stuff.
Grayson.
Yeah.
Grayson's 11, and
Wow.
she's in sixth grade.
Okay, so
And
she's at least a good 12, 13,
Ma-
14. Yeah, she's a year ahead.
Math now at the 6th grade level, they're already doing algebra.
Pre-algebra.
Well, no, this is full on algebra. She's doing square roots and all
In
the.
other words, if she passes these classes, she'll be in calculus by the time she's in eighth
Mhm,
grade.
So she's
pretty
doing
much.
stuff like two x squared minus x equals
Hmm.
x equals 5. So
Yeah.
she's at that level.
And
John can do that standing on his head.
I
They
would
both can
say
calculate.
that
My youngest son is autistic, but he can calculate pi.
I was decent in math in high school up until they told me I didn't need trig and pre-cal to graduate, and I quit trying.
Uh,
So now, because I don't, it's like anything else. I'm out of practice.
Mhm.
So I thought I was going to have more time to at least knock all the rust off, but I'm having to like you go on YouTube and like, all right, how do we do PEMDAS again?
you want me to start? We got a brain trust over here. This one's
if
a programmer. That
Long,
one's
long,
just
long as
smart.
we're not doing geometry right away, where I have to remember
Mhm.
angle side, and all of these other
Mhm.
theorems off the top of my head.
Well, I
That
mean, last year in 5th grade, she was doing area and perimeter of triangles and squares and all of this stuff, and
but that's still
comparing.
simple math. That's still
Yeah,
simple math.
so
That's still
they're
simple
getting
math. It's
there.
like for
Which
proving that a rhombus is a square
mm,
through a proof. It's
yeah.
not easy.
Now I'm
But she
good
won't
with
have that
all of
till high
that
school.
because I think it's good that the younger they are, the more complex the math they're doing is. The bad thing is, it means I have to remember how to do this where I can keep up, and I'm
But
old.
like but like I said, there are brain
Mm,
trusts here. You
yes.
can reach out, and between the brains I birthed and that one,
Hmm.
we can get you an answer.
Yes.
And
Well,
we can get it to
luckily,
you in a simple we can get it to you in a simple enough way where you can explain it to her.
right. Luckily, my oldest is still taking those high level math and science courses in college. So
So
she's
she
kind of
helps. She tutors baby sister.
no. I have to bribe her to help me, and then I help baby sister because I'm not doing
Okay.
anything for baby sister because
Got it.
that would
Well,
be
like I said,
nice.
I can help her with
Hmm.
when she gets to where it's reading English
Hmm.
composition, books and stuff like that.
Hmm.
Send her to me. I can help her. We can, and you can sit there in the conversation so you can
Hmm.
hear me explaining it and say, oh no, you too often nod. I don't want you doing this. So I would never, no, but I'm saying,
Right.
I would never pick a book or a subject that you and the missus haven't had a look at or weren't a part of. So you could
Hmm.
always say that's acceptable, that's not. Because I know how I would teach my children, but how I would teach my children is not necessarily how you would teach yours. But I do know I can, like I said, with the videos, I can find resources. If nothing else, I can find you the resources to help.
Right. Well,
You know,
it will probably come to me just throwing my hands up in the air and shipping them both to one of y'all and saying, "Here, good luck." So,
I think Grayson and I would do okay together. You know,
well, see, the problem is Grayson and anybody will probably do okay together. The problem is
because
when you throw the chaos factor of Penelope into
well, no,
it.
there's a guy over here on the other side of the street. He's got these pit bulls, and I love to terrorize them because they jump up and they start barking at me, and then I bark back, and they back up and go, "Oh wait, she that's crazy," you know, and they will back up and go, "Okay, we gonna sit over here and shut up." Don't I shut up the pit bulls, Courtney? I could shut up a pit bull. So, if nothing else, I could teach them street smarts. It's like, this is how you make a pit
Cliff
bull
was like,
scared of you.
it's like you don't understand the young one. It's like the force is strong with this young one.
And like I said, I gotta get her. I gotta, along with crafting, getting this ready for, Little Miss Chen, I gotta find her the perfect sword. You think she'd prefer a katana or a rapier or good old two-handed long
Oh,
blade?
she's an anime girl, definitely a katana. But yeah, no, you don't understand. When Penelope was born, the balance tipped towards chaos, like completely. It's
Huh?
it's I told you guys the other day when she got in trouble what she said to me, right?
Yes,
Mhm.
Yeah,
and
that was
that was on you because you shouldn't have been giggling.
that was a light day. So
Okay.
yeah, but no. Oh,
Like I said, I'm
See,
putting together a
she probably
package
would like it hate
for
me
you
because I would have been
for
like,
her,
okay, fine. You
and
want to do it that way? Go ahead and get hurt.
I
She goes to get
found
hurt. Like, what did you learn?
I found some
You're not
fonts.
going to do that again, huh? Yep, we're good.
no, see that's the problem. Penelope is the classic definition of madness. She does the same thing, expecting a different result.
She's
Oh
baby
no.
Sinclair again. She's baby
I'm not
Sinclair.
joking.
I'm
She will walk
telling you,
off the couch and crash, get up and do it again, expecting not to crash.
yeah, she's
Or
neurodivergent.
she's
She's mildly
demonic.
neurodivergent.
No,
Look, there's a reason why Etrigan's one of my favorite characters. It's because I birthed one.
no,
Okay,
see,
but what I'm saying is, and I'm
I
not
guess my
saying that in a
response
way
would
to say
be,
that's a bad thing. That
my
is not
response would probably be
necessarily that is
messed
a
up for
bad
her.
thing. It's just it's raising an autistic child has helped me because I have to back up and see the world through his perspective.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and he's 6 feet tall. Okay, so but inside he thinks he's just a little guy. He thinks he's 4 in certain ways. You know, it is not unheard of for him to come running in my room to tell me something about Sesame Street that's changed that he doesn't like, you know, or why isn't Oscar doing this, you know, and
Hey,
I
I'm
just
right
have
there
to
with
go,
him.
and I'm like, okay, you know, it's smile and nod, smile and nod, but it's not saying, oh, that child is crazy. It's you have to go. There's neural divergency here. So let's try to figure out why
All right.
you're expecting this to be different and see if we can get you towards the understanding of unless you change or insert some variable that's different than last time, you're always going to come up with fall down, smash my head on the floor. And you have to get yourself calm, and it doesn't work all the time because sometimes chaos will reign and you kind of have to go, let me go get a mop and a broom and make sure I can. Do we have that stuff that cleans up blood good? Okay. You know, you just kind of have to deal with it.
Yeah.
Well, again, like I said, my response would be different. I would have been like, here's your helmet, have fun. And the reason I would say have fun because eventually she's going to get tired of it. That's how you deal with absolute chaos. Chaos is chaos until it's no longer fun or no longer amusing.
It depends on the chaos. And some people and it's part of the chaos, it's also tolerance levels.
Mm-hmm.
And depending on how the tolerance level is, will determine, you know, some kids that tolerance is low. So they slam into that wall or floor or whatever a couple of times. It's like, you know what? This ain't working. Let me go figure out something else. And other kids will just keep, you know, because it's like, okay, one or two things is going to happen. Either I'm going to break through that wall, or that wall's going to break me, and then it won't matter.
And that's why I give them the helmet. It's like let them figure it out.
Well, I'm
Like the
8
same
years
person, it's like
in.
the same kid that would sit there and stare at a wall and stare at one point at a wall. They'd be like, "Why are you staring at the wall?" Well, no reason. I'll go like have fun. I'm not saying it sarcastically. I'm not saying it to encourage them. I'm just saying have fun with that because I know that something is going on there that they're trying to figure out and they have to figure it out on their own. And
Well,
that was
I'm
one of the
8
things
years
that
into the tolerance level, waiting for it to fall, and it hadn't. So
No, because she's 8, and as she grows up and she gets older and things, they change from day to day. And as she discovers her hormones and boys, and or just, um just that she just, and it may come, she'll get to the point where she just doesn't feel that same way about it, and she's like, oh yeah, that was yesterday. Because
waiting for that day.
that's something that also happens. It's like, you used to do this, and it's like, well, that was yesterday.
Well, perfect example. This is terrible parenting, but I got tired of the 8-year-old and the 11-year-old throwing hands every day because they got mad at each other.
Okay.
So being brought up the way I was in a contact sport, where if you had a problem with someone, you threw the gloves on and you dealt with it. I was like, all right,
you taught them
I
how
am
to box.
I am tired of y'all fighting. Here's a pair of boxing gloves. Y'all get it all out of your system now.
Well, that
30
worked.
minutes later, the 8-year-old did not want to do it anymore because now the 11-year-old, who was longer than her, was hitting her a lot and she didn't like it. So I was like, all right, did you learn your lesson? I don't want any more fighting. Uh-huh. The gloves came off. The moment the gloves touched the ground, Penelope punched Grayson right in the face and walked off.
Oh no. Oh no.
Yeah.
My uncles Richard and Mar I will tell you this. My uncles Richard and Mario, as children, the day didn't go by. They could not go 24 hours without a fight.
Mm-hmm.
As we were coming up as kids, they fought like cats and dogs. Now they don't let too much time go, because Mario is in upstate New York, and Ricky is still here in Illinois. They don't let too much time go when they're calling each other. Ricky will drive through MAGA country to get to Mario to go spend time with him. Mario will do the same to come here and hang with Richard.
Now, see, I live in MAGA country, and I don't love nobody enough to drive through it to go see them.
Well, these two, it's like I said, they've gone from, and I mean, they did things. I still remember the day I came over to my grandma's, and there were these little holes in the wall. And I asked Mario, what was that? He goes, oh, Ricky got mad at me. He threw a fork and it stuck in the wall. I ducked just before it got me. So it just, he's like, yeah, you should have seen it. It was like, like in a cartoon. Ricky put his knee through a door. Mario did something, and Ricky went after him. Mario closed the door just as Ricky was coming after. He slammed his knee through the door. My grandmother finally put them in the basement because it was the only part of their townhouse it was cinder blocks, so they couldn't tear it apart, because she was tired of them wrecking the rest of the house. That was just it was just who they were. But eventually, as they got older, they started making more peace with each other. And even then, it was okay. It was very much, you ever see White Christmas, the Sisters song? Vera Ellen and Rosemary Clooney, sisters, there were never such devoted sisters. Okay. Then I can't.
Okay.
They, as much as they fought with each other, you as an outsider could not come pick on one of them without the other one nearly annihilating you. Julia was the same way. You pick on she fought with the boys, but I forgot, somebody was messing with Mario and Julia went and broke his arm. Because it was like, you don't touch my brother. And then Mario said there was a snap, and then he was on the ground and his body went this way and his arm was over there. So she just grabbed it and went snap and broke his arm. That, because that's crazy. Yes. Puerto Ricans.
Yes. Well, no, it's, You family can fight, but damn it, you don't fight our family.
Right.
Yeah, the Haygood
Yeah.
side of my family is very much the same way. They will
Mm.
kill each other in a second, but let you look cross-eyed at a Haygood, and you got what all the Haygoods in the city ready to take you off the planet.
Mm-hmm.
It's like we are going to remove you from reality. You know, it,
Yeah,
it that's what family is, and
that's
so
right.
and eventually they will grow up, and part of it is when you're the younger sister, you want to be that older sister, and the older sister is just, can you just go away? I want to just do me stuff, and I don't want you involved. My
Mm-hmm.
sister and I had we are 6.5 years apart,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and I hated having, if I wanted to, there were times when I wanted to go to the park or something, I had to take her with me if I wanted to
Mm-hmm.
go. You know, I was a Girl Scout. She wanted to be a Girl Scout. Sorry, we don't have brownies. My mom became a brownie troop leader so Lisa could join the Girl Scouts. I
Mm-hmm.
wanted to friggin' strangle her and leave her on the train track, because it's like, that was my thing. You gave her my thing. So it happens,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
and some of it you just have to let time deal with, because it's the, I want it, you can do it, I can do it too. No, you can't. Well, yes, I can.
Thankfully, time's not on my side, and I will die before it gets fixed. So I'm okay.
No, that's not true.
No,
But
you almost had organized boxing, and it almost worked until the cheap shot.
Tell you what,
that's why I try to. I seriously. That is why I haven't spent more time training them at home because I do not need them flying kneeing each other in the face and choking each other out.
if
Which
you
sucks because at this age, their oldest sister could defend herself very well. But I'm terrified what these two will do to each other. So I'm like, no, we ain't learning the kicking
You
and the
need to be
punching and
more
throwing today.
terrified. You need to be more terrified what they would do to other one got into some serious trouble.
and
Mm-hmm.
you can always
That's
video
what you need.
conference with
Yeah.
us on Messenger if
Mm,
you just need another set of ears. Just video conference, call me on
yeah.
Messenger, video conference. It's like, hey sweetie, daddy needs a break. Why don't
Mm-hmm.
we figure, I'm going to teach you how to do blackhand. It's a type of lettering, and that's what I got to
Mm-hmm.
do. I got to print out, I found some fonts, I just got to print them out,
Mm-hmm.
because I am sending you India ink, I am sending you the pen set, the book on drawing, and then the Wonder Woman, Princess of the Amazons, and Diana and Nubia books.
Well, thank you. Grayson, I didn't realize it at the time, but that same little young reader series of DC books,
Uh huh.
Grayson has the Harley Quinn. I
Okay.
didn't realize they were all in the same little. I mean, they're not conjoined like that, but
No,
it's
but
all the same little
they
series
have
thing.
put
Oh, they're
out
not
this
conjoined, but
whole
they're in the
series.
series for it. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a way of getting younger readers who were
Mm-hmm.
like, okay, I really just don't want to read Lulu Lulu. I would
Mm-hmm.
like something a little more interesting than Little Lulu or
Right.
whatever. So yeah, they like I said, if I've got the money and I can grab a copy, um, and send it, I will.
Oh, I appreciate it.
But
Oh,
like I said, I had these, and so I'm gonna send those. Um, is there anything else? I
oh,
can't.
that's a good. If nothing else, that's a good starting point, and then I can be like, "Hey, do you have?" So we can go from there.
Okay,
All right,
okay,
and I
and then
appreciate it greatly. Of
I
course, if they
know.
get turned into weapons, I'm lost. But
Well, I'm not going to do, what is that? The second red, where hottie Korean guy comes and he's doing the origami folds and he turns it into a sword and stabs dude in the neck. I
mm-hmm,
do origami. Is that's really hard. You can't.
mm-hmm,
The paper will, like, if you have to really know what you're doing to get the paper like that, because I'm folding origami cranes
mm-hmm.
that we're going to give out at C2E2. And
Oh, that's
believe
cool.
me, I will. pack a couple in the
Okay.
package for them. So, and I'll even, if you want, I will even pack some unfolded paper and give
Mm.
you the address of the guy that I learned to do it from,
Okay.
so
All
that they
right.
can practice. So, and origami paper is like a pack of 50 sheets is like
Mm.
$6.
Okay.
So it's not really expensive.
Right. Right. So before you get too long in the tooth,
Yep.
Joe, can I quickly run through these KO
No,
titles
no,
I
I
read?
want you to run through. I want you to run through that.
Oh, Aeon Flux. I'm so
As far as
sorry. I screwed us.
yeah, what we gotta say about Eon Flux, not going to take that much time. At least I'm not going to go as in depth here, but we need to get your book reviews done.
Okay. So I've not been to my local comic shop in a while, so I'm behind on all of my books I normally read, plus all the KO titles. I am not going to go through all the ones I picked up tonight. I'm going to go through all the ones that I've read that tie into issue 3 of KO this week.
Oh,
Next week, I'll go over the ones that go into issue 4, and then hopefully I'll have gone back to my LCS and got KO 5 since it came out yesterday, and I don't go to the comic book shop on Wednesday. But plus next week also, I picked this up. I didn't even know it existed. It is the new history of the DC universe, issue 1, the Dakota incident. This is
oh,
all
shoot.
dedicated to the Milestone universe,
Okay.
which I'm very interested in reading because I flipped through it and I haven't read the whole thing. But Joe, you'll appreciate this.
Mm-hmm.
They are implying, and again, I haven't read it. They are implying that the entire Dakota incident and the Milestone universe is because of Lex Luthor.
That makes sense. That could make sense.
So I'll see how that all works out then. But for tonight, I read All Fight Month, Lex Luthor versus Etrigan the Demon. This is real
Okay.
easy. This is real easy to run through. Lex is having yet another one of his existential crises, like we talked about earlier in the show, and he determines that he doesn't care if he has a soul or where he goes when he dies. He is going to be a god, and he doesn't care who he steps on. So
Okay.
he fights Etrigan.
Right.
First, the first round, Demon versus Squishy Human. Demon wins.
Of course, Q go squish.
Second round, because they get every time. If you remember from the last time we went over these, every round when they lose, they get to pick a version of themselves from throughout their history to be
Mm-hmm.
in the next fight. And just to make me mad, both of them chose their new 52 versions.
Oh no.
And because Lex Luthor's super suit in the new 52 was based on apocalyptic technology, he threw a mother box at Etrigan's face and it opened a boom tube in his head and killed him.
Okay.
Well, yeah, that
Okay.
kind of makes sense, but that's a cheap fight. That's something that is like,
Mm-hmm.
why? Why would you do that unless you just knew that? Okay, fine, that's going to be the fastest way I can win, or I could
Mm-hmm.
really do the coup de grace to really nail it.
And then the final round, we have they don't say what version of Lex Luthor this is, but this is that if you remember in the Golden Age and into the Silver Age, Lex walked that weird line between being a mad scientist and a sorcerer.
Mm-hmm.
So
Right.
this is kind of like that Lex Luthor versus a version of Etrigan that is not rhyming anymore,
Oh
which
shoot.
I have a problem with because if you follow the DC universe hierarchy of hell, rhyming demons are very high up in the food chain, and this Etrigan's happy he doesn't have to rhyme anymore, so that doesn't make any sense.
Okay.
But somehow, super scientist sorcerer Lex Luthor says Etrigan's rhyme, the whole thing, not the gone the form of man, but the entire Yarva Demonicus Etrigan. Change the form of man. Free the prince forever damned. Free the might from fleshy mire. Boil the blood in heart of fire. Gone the form of man. Rise of the Demon Etrigan, and somehow saying it separates Jason Blood and Etrigan, and Lex Luthor becomes Etrigan and
Oh, no.
kills squishy human Jason Blood.
Oh.
Wait. So now this is where I got a problem with that. Which version of Jason Blood? Because remember, Jason Blood at one time was a knight. I don't care if he's a squishy human being. If we get Jason Blood the knight, that's a problem.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, it doesn't really say because he's in his suit and tie, and he goes, "Am I finally free of this Kurt?" And he didn't get curse out before Lex slits his throat.
Ew.
But
Okay.
Etrigan somehow fights back from Lex's control because whatever. It has something to do with the fact that Lex's soul is too dark even for Etrigan to be a part of it.
Okay.
And they fight, and Lex wins somehow. And then he goes, and like I said, he says, "I don't care whether I have a soul or not. I am a pawn in no one's games. I control the game. I will be a god." And that's all of that. So
Boo.
Lex
Narcissist,
wins by
anybody?
plot hole. Then I
Yes.
also read Titans 31. Not much happens in this. Donna Troy and Roy Harper are the only Titans left on Earth trying to get the last few humans off the planet where they don't die in the middle of the tournament. And they have to fight Darkseid's daughter, Grail.
That's
And
interesting.
at the same time, they're fighting them. Nightwing and Raven are in the Gem World because they evacuated a bunch of humans there because Amethyst, Princess of Gem World, told them they could come. But when they get there, they realize Jinx, the Teen Titans villain, who gained a lot of popularity in the cartoon, has taken over Gem World because her powers are stronger there.
Oh,
And
no.
for some reason, Tara is back from the dead, and Raven tries to get Tara to help them, but of course she betrays them too because it's Tara. And the last scene you see is Tara has everybody under her control, and she's the new queen of Gem.
Oh, great.
All right. Then Superman 34, Lex and Superman are still fighting the good fight in the tournament. Superboy Prime is trying to help Lois Lane get a reprogrammed Superman robot to the Watchtower to give some kind of magic information he has in his hard drive to the Time Trapper to help defeat Darkseid. And they're being chased by the former Legion of Superheroes who are now evil because in this universe, Darkseid created the Legion. But
Okay.
everyone still remembers the original Legion, but the real Legion never existed, but people still remember them because of Superman, and I don't know. So not much really happened
Yeah.
in that.
So again,
Other
so he has control over Brainiac 5, but yet nobody remembers who Brainiac 5 was. That doesn't make any sense.
Yes. And so Sunboy, Timberwolf, Saturn Girl, Lightning Lad, and Cosmic Boy are chasing Superboy Prime and Lois. And I'm like, okay, this all right. But what really is kind of irritating me is they're giving Superboy Prime a redemption arc because in the solicits for the Superman titles, after KO, Superman's not around for a little while, so Superboy Prime steps up to be the defender of Earth. I'm like, you don't have to make every villain a good guy. He is awesome as a villain. Leave him that way.
No, he's awesome as being Superboy Prime.
Yes.
Superboy Prime is his own character. He's neither
Yes.
good nor bad. He just know what he is, Superboy Prime.
Right. So we'll see. But
King
I'm glad they're
Shark is a
using him.
shark.
Yes. I like the fact they're using him, but come on. They need a big bad in the universe that's not Darkseid. And a pissed off pre-crisis Kryptonian is the perfect bad guy. They don't need to make him a hero again.
Okay.
I also read
Well, he was never Superman. That was the whole thing. That was the whole thing about Superboy Prime. He never truly became Superman.
Got it.
I also read Green Lantern Galactic Slam.
Wait, they added wrestling?
Which was a wrestling tie-in that was written by people who quit watching wrestling in the 1980s because they're making references to Mean Gene and things like that.
Oh,
and
my goodness.
it's it's an okay story, but they're trying to make it a little bit. I'm not really sure what the right word is because
Satirical.
they're talking a lot about toxic masculinity and bro this and bro that.
Oh
Oh
goodness.
my goodness. To get it,
And
poor DC Comics. Poor
I
for
DC
have
some
a
Comics.
sick
reason,
headache.
Knockout, the female Fury who was a member of the Secret Six, is evil again, and I missed how that happened. I don't know.
Wait. The same knockout that was courting after
Andal Savage, yes.
no, courting after Superboy. I forgot which Superboy. It wasn't Connell,
I,
it was the other
the
one.
No, it was Connor because it was in his Superboy series.
Right.
Yes, she's apparently evil again. I don't know.
He
Oh.
talked her
And
out of being evil because again, she was a surrogate Fury. She was not a full female Fury. I'm sorry.
well,
She
she
was
is
she was
here.
a Fury in training. She was
And
never evil.
Kyle
Okay.
Rayner, the Green Lantern in this book, is having a hard time fighting Knockout with his ring constructs until he makes a folding metal chair construct and hits her in the head with it and beats her because this is wrestling.
Oh, God. It's WWE.
No, no,
And
no, no.
and Joe, you will like this. At the end of the book, this weird alien person who looks like the love child between Randy Savage and Hulk Hogan is apparently, and his name is Omega Bam Man.
So Bam. So
Omega
Bam
Bam.
Bigelow, Bam Bigelow type wannabe character. Omega
I
Bam.
like it. All I can
They
hear is
don't-
bam, 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 bam.
And they don't say it right out in the book, but I think he's from the same species that Kilowog is because he says Poozer a lot.
Okay.
Oh, okay. I like Kilowog.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but apparently Omega Bam Man is going to be in the more in going forward in the Green Lantern books. So
So is he replacing Kilowog then?
I have no idea. But the funny thing, at the end of this wrestling centric book, there is an ad for the upcoming AEW meets DC Universe comics coming out.
Yeah, that's actually out. No, that's actually out.
So
I have a
hopefully they
headache.
are better than this one's. But yeah,
I have a headache.
this was bad. And I usually like bad comics, but this was bad.
That was horrible. That sounded like it was horrible.
Yeah, that wasn't bad. That was
And I would have probably ripped it apart. I probably would have really ripped it apart.
Oh, now speaking of bad,
Oh no.
we also have DC KO presents Boss Battle. This is the final contestants in the tournament are about to fight Darkseid's champions, who, spoiler, Darkseid's champions are the Absolute Universe's version of Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman. But apparently they are not strong enough to fight these Absolute characters yet. So the World Forger pauses time and pulls characters from different realities in for the remaining Earth heroes to fight, so they can gain enough Omega energy to be on equal ground with the Absolute characters.
Okay.
So, in this wonderful idea, we get Black Lightning and Plastic Man fight Sub-Zero and Scorpion for Mortal Kombat.
And I'm fighting not to belch on my. I was trying not to belch so anybody could hear it, and then you hit me with that.
Oh, it gets better.
I'm done.
Wonder Woman versus Red Sonja.
That could actually work to a certain degree.
To a certain degree.
Batwoman versus Vampirella.
No.
Vampirella wins. Vampirella wins.
I was about to say you'd have been better off with Wonder Woman versus Vampirella. At least
The Joker versus the Annabelle doll.
That's interesting.
Why not Megan? That would at least been a more fun fight.
Carol Ferris as the Star Sapphire versus Sabrina the Teenage Witch.
No.
Yes.
Boo.
And I'm sorry, this is for anybody who knows what this is, and there's probably a bigger fan than I am. We have Lex Luthor versus some kind of serial killer teddy bear named Samantha Strong.
Oh, ooh, ugh, that's a nasty fight.
Yeah, from let me see.
Was that Five Nights at Freddy's or something?
No. That's from
It's
what's
from
it called?
something called Beneath the Trees Where Nobody Sees.
Seas, yeah.
Okay, I haven't seen
That one's actually interesting. That one would be interesting.
I haven't seen that.
And in the main event, Superman versus Homelander from The Boys.
Oh, Superman wins.
Yeah.
Well,
Superman wins. Now, if it was me, I was right that main event. It would have been Kal-El versus Saitama from One Punch Man.
Yes.
Yeah, that would have been interesting. That would have been an interesting fight.
Yes, or Omni-Man from Invincible. But
Superman still wins versus Omni-Man.
Oh yeah. So we have wackiness with them all fighting. They Black Lightning and Plastic Man somehow win round 1 against Scorpion and Sub-Zero, and then we're going into round 2. Wonder Woman and Red Sonja are pretty evenly matched until Wonder Woman brings her bracelets up and Red Sonja hits the sword and it does that clangy magic thing from the Wonder Woman movie that I hate.
Boing, yoing, yoing, yoing.
No. It's like people keep forgetting about the bracers and Diana.
Oh, yeah.
And
it's
then
like, there's a reason why the bracers are on her.
And Superman and Homelander are just trading superpowers back and forth. The Joker and Annabelle are having a tea party. That may be my favorite.
I could see that. From what little I know about the Annabelle series, I could see that them sitting there going, "Why not pretend?"
And of course, Annabelle doesn't do anything. She's just sitting there, and the Joker's reacting like she's talking to him. And he goes,
Well, in his head, she is.
Why your stories are almost as hilarious as my own, which really just makes me mad. And he breaks his teacup and is going to go cut the doll's throat with it, saying, "I'm the only one that's supposed to be funny around here."
Oh goodness!
And then their arenas all start crashing together, and their fight during the fight, and Superman and Homelander crash the tea party.
Oh, great!
And when you're focusing on Superman and Homelander fighting, the Joker in the background snatches up Annabelle out of the chair and says, "I saw you move. I know it. I saw you move."
So basically, they turned Joker into a joke.
Well, I mean, he's
it's
still
more
a murdery
cerebral
person.
than that. It's really more cerebral than that.
They turned him into a joke.
If you understand the whole story behind the Annabelle doll and Ed and Lorraine Warren, it makes more sense. But of course,
Which I
at the
don't.
you're not missing much. I'll tell you that. But then at the end, nobody wins the fight. The time limit runs out, and they all go back to their separate universes. And the heroes now have enough Omega energy to fight the absolute characters. So
I just want to know how they're going to deal with Absolute Wonder Woman.
I'm going to make myself.
We will find out next week when I read DC KO number 4.
Okay.
Because
are you gonna be with us next week?
Out of all I want, Absolute Wonder Woman is the terror. She's she's more of a terror than in Absolute.
Okay.
Absolute.
And then the last one, of course, is DC KO issue 3 of the main series.
She don't care.
So we're down to our final 8 characters, which are Superman, Lex Luthor, Cyborg, Joker, Wonder Woman, Black Lightning. I'm sorry, Joker, Guy Gardner, Zatanna, and Aquaman. And while they're waiting for their next battle to begin, they're seeing glimpses of the universe if they win the tournament. And of course, Superman sees a utopia where everything is
good. Is awesome.
Yeah, we don't get to see what Lex Luthor's is, but he's talking about how wonderful it would be. Uh, of course, sees a techno utopia. Wonder Woman sees a universe glowing with truth. The Joker sees a black laughing void.
Of
Yep.
course.
Guy Gardner sees a grand sculpture of will. Zatanna sees a dark wonder, and Aquaman sees a kingdom of peace.
Okay.
And so for this next round, it becomes, instead of a one-on-one battles, it becomes a tag team match. Each character
No.
each character can pick someone who has been pulled from the tournament because they lost to be their partner in the next round. All except the Joker, who, according to the games, the Heart of Omega or whatever it's called, um, the Joker has generated more Omega energy than the rest, so he can pull a partner from all different realms of reality.
He gets Annabelle.
I wish, but so what we end up with is the matches going forward. Guy Gardner, of course, pulls in Hal Jordan.
Of course.
Typical.
Hal Jordan and Guy Gardner will face in this 2-on-2 tag team extravaganza, Superman, and I'm not calling him Shazam, Captain Marvel.
Okay.
Aquaman and Hawkman will team up to
Well,
take on
that's a
Lex
wash.
Luthor.
That's a win. That's an automatic win for Superman and Captain Marvel.
And Lex Luthor pulled his partner to be Supergirl.
Okay.
That's weird.
Yeah.
Can't he decide? Can the partner you pull decide if they don't want to be your partner?
More on that in a moment.
Oh, okay.
Cyborg, Victor Stone, empowered with a father box and all of this wonderful, all these years of being a Titan, he chooses Connor Hawk Green Arrow to be his partner.
I don't know who Connor Hawk is.
He's one of Oliver Queen's illegitimate kids.
Mm-hmm.
Ah, okay. See, I have not followed enough Green Arrow since I was a girl, and they did the TV show with Cutie Butt Blonde Boy.
Mm-hmm. And so Connor Hawk and Cyborg are going to take on the team of Wonder Woman and Big Barda.
Okay, that's not even a fight anymore.
I was about to say that's not a fight. That's
even with a father box. Even with a father box, it's like, yeah, you might be able to hold off Wonder Woman for a little bit, but you got Big Barda there who knows what you can do. Nah, you're dead.
That's just dig a hole, crawl into it, pull the dirt over yourself. Bye.
And in the final match, Zatanna and her partner John Constantine takes on the Joker and his mystery tag team partner because he got to pick anyone he wanted.
Who did he pick?
Well, we're going to get there. It's a surprise.
Well, I can't wait. I'm hungry.
Well, we're getting there.
I might eat my monitor.
We have the fight. The fights are going on. We see Aquaman and Hawkman teaming up, and Luthor excited for the fight. And Supergirl just turns and punches him and says, "You seriously thought I'd fight alongside you?"
Yes.
And so she suggests to Hawkman and Aquaman that they make it a 3-on-1 fight.
It's a throuple.
But Lex, because he's Lex and he's supposed to be smarter than the average bear, he has his own ace up his sleeve, and he uses his own brand of synthetic kryptonite to turn her into basically a giant Hulk baby. Uh-huh. And she takes out Aquaman and Hawkman, so Lex wins.
You know, if I want to see Lex go up again,
that is messed up.
Because I think it would be so fun.
Here, I got me some pink kryptonite. See,
Lex Luthor against
I am super Hulk.
I'm super pounds of cocaine.
And so next we have Big Barda and Wonder Woman, and Connor looks at Cyborg and says, "Thanks for the shot, pal." And Cyborg, with a straight face, says, "You're one of the deadliest fighters in the world, Connor. And I know that now that I'm infused with my nano enhancements, we'll know how to hit them."
Okay.
And in
Knowing
fact,
how to hit them is not the same as hitting them.
You have to land the punch for it to count.
and
Even I know that.
as they're going along here, he where's it at? Connor even asks, "Why did you pick me?" And Cyborg says,
I didn't want
"I
to get
just
my
had
butt kicked alone.
basically no." He oh here it is. Uh, he says, "You're one of the like I said, you're one of the deadliest fighters in the world, but I picked you because of how you're deadly. The style of fighting you studied is all about human impulse and unpredictability, right? Surprise, perfect for going up against traditional warriors." And I
Yeah,
and
Yeah,
you
once
got blink again, because that's how I felt right there that moment when he said that. Yeah, thank you.
and
yeah, okay.
once I scan your skills and absorb them, I can fight just like you.
Uh-huh.
Now let's win this thing.
And
And so what
Big
happens?
Barter will be able to read your movements in half a second and and literally you'll be going, what? Oh, this is your butt. Did you lose it?
No,
No, you know what
and
Barda's known for, right?
mhm. And what happens in this fight with the unpredictable Connor Hawk and Cyborg? They get dog walked
Of
Yeah,
course. I was about to
in
say,
the
look who
fight.
they're up
big,
against.
big Barter, the person who is known to be the breaker of man's will.
Yes.
Mhm. All right, now
And
so
No,
Diana the Mascara.
and then Diana openly admits, "I didn't choose Barda. I didn't choose you just for your ability, your strength. I chose you because you were trained in the fire pits of apocalypse, and you know the way of war there. So I need you to tell me everything you know about the heart of apocalypse." So she's trying to understand the real villain of the situation.
mhm.
Because
Um,
Diana ain't stupid.
then we have okay, Superman, Green Lantern versus the Green Lanterns versus Superman and Captain Marvel. Real easy fight to go over. They try to take out Billy first because he's 15, and Hal has a great idea. He's going to put a Black Mercy on Superman. Um,
Okay.
so
That's interesting.
The Black Mercy, shows you what you want the most. And what Superman wants the most right now is an end of this tournament and everyone to be safe and happy.
Because he's
So it
Superman.
so it backfires, and the little Black Mercy does not show them what he need to trap Superman. It shows them what they need to free him, and he starts stomping Hal Jordan and Guy Gardner by himself.
Of
And
course.
they're of course, and the only thing that you can do to Superman if you're Green Lantern is they decide they're going to make green kryptonite. But Superman, knowing this might happen, did the one thing that he knew. He chose Billy for a different reason, because Billy is the only hero of the group who can share his power like he did with his Marvel family. So Billy gives the power of Shazam to Superman.
And
He's
Billy
immortal
isn't,
now.
I was about to
So
say, and
you
isn't
have
Billy not susceptible to kryptonite?
well now Superman's not, because he's super Marvel. And for any of you old school anime fans, I know I don't have the best camera to see this on, but not
He
only
got the
does Superman,
chin. He got the Marvel chin now.
yes, but not only does he have the lightning bolt and the Captain Marvel like costume,
Hmm.
he has the fusion earrings from Dragon Ball Z on.
Ooh, the
Ooh.
whatchamacallit, I forgot what
The
they call the
Tortuga,
the 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 the, the what the Bartera earring or whatever it's called.
yes, yes. And of course, now there's no hope whatsoever. He just runs over Guy Gardner and Hal Jordan like it was nothing, because, of course, it is. But
Hey, did
I,
you see Jaws? Da-dum,
mhm.
da-dum.
And I saved the mystery for last for Elaine. So now we
Oh,
have Zatanna versus John Constantine. John Constantine
I
and
thought they
Zatanna
were
versus,
fighting together.
I messed up. They're fighting together in their tag team match against the Joker and his mystery partner.
Who's his mystery partner?
And he says, oh, you know me, I just love to laugh. So I figured why not pick someone who loves to laugh too. And the Batman Who Laughs shows up.
Oh no.
But John Constantine, being John Constantine, knows better, and he goes, "I sense no dark multiverse energy from him. This can't be real." So the Joker says, "Well, the jig's up. Reveal who you really are." And it turns out his tag team partner is Mr. Mixospitalik.
Oh no,
Oh
my God. Oh my God. Talk about how to go from, okay, this is could be a winnable fight for Zatanna and Constantine, to, yeah, how are we going to stop a six-dimensional being?
Yeah. And
yes.
so
It's
what
like we might
happens
as well just,
is,
you know, hang it up,
and
go home, and hope we don't die.
Well,
and so
Constantine
what
would be
ends up
like, oh, let me see if I could bargain with him and put him in a bad situation. I was like, you're not going to be able to do that with a
Mr.
six-dimensional being.
Mixaplicit, unless you're Superman, that's hard to do.
well,
No, Superman can't even do it.
I was supposed to, yeah, he's kind of hard. He's like Marvel's Impossible Man.
That's
well,
who it,
it
that's who he technically is. The Marvel's universe version of him is Impossible Man.
Yeah.
and but the Joker doesn't use Mixospitalik as a tag team partner. He the little remembered event Emperor Joker from the early 2000s, where he gained Mixospitalak's power,
Mhm.
Didn't see that.
is what's happening. He forced Mixospitalik to become his scepter for the
Oh,
fight,
oh
and
no.
he kills Constantine and Zatanna by infecting them with his own magical madness,
Oh no.
and they die. They die horribly.
So it's
And
it's 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 the magical version of the Venom.
yeah, and Mixospitalik said when the fight's over, says, "I did what you asked. I lived up to my end of the bargain. Now please send me home." And the Joker says his name backwards, and he goes back to the fifth dimension, but he's crying because he was used this way.
Well, yeah, because that's he's a trickster, but he's not.
Hmm.
He's a trickster. He will drive you insane. But technically
Not,
he is not a villain.
Yes.
well, he's not malicious.
Yes,
Right.
that's what he's
So
not.
so it's Batmite. Batmite is not malicious, but Batmite could mess you up very quickly.
So can Mixoplicity. But
Yes.
that is not his intention. It's not his intention to cause harm.
Right.
I
And
do
so
have to
now,
say this: his wife is still hot, though.
yes. And so we're left with the final four in the tournament are the Joker, Lex Luthor, Wonder Woman, and Superman. And they're transported to a
Wait,
version of
so Joker? Wait, you said Final Four?
Yeah.
Final
That's my
four
people.
Joker. Yeah, the final four people: Joker, Lex Luthor, Superman, and Wonder Woman
Okay.
are final four. And they are transported to, they don't say it, but it's implied that they're transported to the absolute universe version of Earth because it looks like apocalypse now.
Oh, no.
And so the in the next round it will be the final four from our Earth versus absolute Batman, absolute Superman, absolute Wonder Woman, and the booster gold that's possessed by Darkseid. And that will be issue 4.
Okay. That ought to be fun.
I made it through all that where you
You
didn't have to.
Well, you can always, like I said, I'm a text away on Messenger. You can call me via Messenger or whatever and say,
Well,
this
see,
is really driving me crazy. And I can
well,
say, you want to talk?
I'll be honest, I'm having fun reading it. It's ridiculous. And I'll openly admit I am, because I grew up in the 80s, I am an event whore. I love comic events.
Okay.
I don't.
This one this one so far has been one of the weaker events in a while. I am right now, because I'm famously behind on all my comic reading. I am right now trying to make my way through Death Metal, Dark Crisis, and Absolute Power, which so far are all far superior events to this one. But I complain about it because there's a lot of goofiness in it. But at the end of the day, it is just a fun event, and they've already, spoilers, they have already let you know this is just going to lead into the next event at the end of the year. So
Okay. Okay.
So it's basically Scott Snyder set out when he was given the keys to the kingdom. He wanted to do 3 events: a Batman focused event, which was metal, a Wonder Woman focused event, which was death metal, and a Superman focused event, which is DCKO. Sadly, the one that should be the best because it's about a superhero you can do so much with is so far the weakest of the 3.
Okay.
I'm hoping 4 and 5 change my mind, but so far, eh. It's still fun though. I mean, it is a fun just turn your brain off, don't think about it. Like,
That's
don't think
probably
about the
how they
fact
wrote these: is turn your brain off,
yeah,
don't think about it, just
don't think
just
about the fact that somehow Cyborg beat Swamp Thing. Just go with it and have a good time.
have an
And that
have
Yeah,
have
yeah,
another Jack,
yeah.
a swig of
Don't
Jack
think about
Daniels and a snort of
don't
coke.
think about that. We had a Shazam, Super Shazam. Don't think about that. I was like, he shared his power with a Kryptonian.
Mm-hmm.
So now
yes.
you made an immortal Kryptonian that
Mm-hmm.
has
Yes, and
no that has
that
zero
had
weakness now.
that has the, what the wisdom of Solomon, the speed of Mercury, the might of Zeus, all of that on top of being a Kryptonian. So it's like, why are you giving this up? Just win the tournament by snapping your fingers and let's be done with all this now, please.
Well, because he
So,
doesn't know how to use the Rock of Eternity as of yet.
right,
And
right,
he's Superman and he plays fair.
exactly. And so next week we'll go through DCKO 4, the Titans and Superman tie-in books, the history of the DC Universe, the Dakota incident, and this is going to be a chore. DCKO, the Kids Are All Fight special.
Okay, I'm done.
Why? Just
So,
why?
oh, and don't forget, we'll also be going through Night Fight 3 and 4, where we can see how Batman ends up back in the tournament. Yes. If you remember the last time we saw Batman, he was on a world where Bruce Wayne was Clayface. So,
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I'm still.
yeah.
I was having nightmares about that.
I'm not. I'm not. I'm trying not to think about it, and I still got my copies that's supposed to be coming, and I still gotta read them.
Now,
But
like I
anyway,
said, if I am reading this as someone who is not currently caught up with all the goings on in the DC universe, I know the broad strokes. So if once I go back and my reading catches up with where they're at, it might make more sense to me then.
Okay.
But right now, reading it cold like I am, it's
It's not
just kind of
making much.
fun. It's
Okay.
just it's just like, okay, I'm gonna turn my brain off and read this. I'm gonna get a good chuckle out of Joe's steam coming out of his ears, but
yeah.
I don't know if I can do anymore. So, but
But
yeah,
at least you're getting fun. At least you're having fun with that happening.
yeah.
Yes. You know.
That is that, and that was a lot. Okay.
So real quickly here, because we're definitely over our 2 hour minute, but 2 hour limit
Yes.
here. But we're going to talk about originally what was. Well, let me bring it on the screen first here. We're going to do this the proper way here. We are going to talk about the following. Now,
The dream to awaken our world. You're out of control.
there's our boy Trevor Goodchild.
Whose side are you on? I take no side.
This is the
You're skating
intro to where they actually gave her own series.
Okay. And it was no longer just the little shorts that they were doing.
Mm-hmm.
Just don't get it.
And there's the scene that
Exactly.
probably everyone remembers most: the flying eyelashes.
Well, no, that was the true original intro
Mm-hmm.
to the
Yeah.
short of
That was how
Enoch
the shorts were
Flux
starting to see
from
the
Liquid
fly, and
Television.
she
That's
was
how you
catching
knew
in
that
her
you were
lashes.
watching
Mm-hmm.
her unique short from Liquid Television. It always started off with the fly coming down, hitting her face, and her eyelashes catches it,
Venus
and she
fly,
looks at it.
yeah, Venus fly trapping.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said,
So,
I was always more into the shorts.
which again, I'm just saying that I do have the full animated series on DVD here, including the
Mhm.
shorts.
Okay.
And to think that this series was actually created from, it actually birthed because of an actual conflict that was fictional in the Liquid Television series,
Hmm.
and that the main characters were technically on the same side. It wasn't
Mhm.
until they spawned her off into her own show that we had the dynamic of Eon versus Trevor.
Mhm.
Eon and Trevor technically from the very beginning were on the same side because the whole thing about the universe that they're set in was a conflict between two countries,
Right.
and both of them were agents for the opposing country of Brian. It's just that Trevor's solution was the one that actually worked first, because they were about to take Brian over by force because Brian had an overpowering dictator and everything. The people were suffering and yada yada yada. There was no freedom. Blah 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 blah. And if you watch the shorts had many different conclusions on how the war ended, because they had one short called "The War," where you only saw Eon for like 5 seconds because they killed her off.
Yeah, I think I remember that one.
And then we saw all these other characters going in, and one of those characters happened to be Trevor, but we never understood what actually happened by the time it ended. It seemed like everybody died in different ways here. And then every short after that, you saw snippets of Eon's mission to try to take over the dictator. And by the very last short, we find out that Trevor did it.
Okay.
Trevor succeeded where she failed. And then the series spun off to what we got here, and it talks about the whole relationship between Trevor and Eon. They're both members of the same team. But there's kind of like this love-hate interest because of it.
Mhm.
Does she really truly love him, or is it really about the mission and this, that, and the other? And then we also find out that the Monacan government can clone her at any given time.
Oh, okay.
And then we
So
got that real terrible live action version of it.
See, I
again,
wasn't
that's a
any
live action movie.
like I
Mm.
said, as much as I love Charlize, that was just not something in which she shone.
I'm going to say this, and I want to make this perfectly clear for
I
everyone.
liked it better in the old guard.
I want to make this perfectly clear here about this movie, about Eon Flux, the live action movie. This is not an Eon Flux movie until you get to the last 15 minutes of the
Mhm.
movie.
Mhm.
Do you know why I say the last 15 minutes?
Why?
Because in the last 15 minutes, we actually see the actual true Trevor Goodchild in the blimp.
Mhm.
And all of this
That
was, and that's where it's like, oh, so there's the Eon Flux spin on all of this, because all of this was just like, oh, fan service, fan service, fan service, fan service. It's nothing from this series was in this movie
Yeah.
until you see the actual true Trevor Goodchild, reminiscing about, oh, yeah, all of this is kind of like a simulation.
mm. Now, didn't what's her name like really mess her back or her neck up filming that movie?
Charlize, I think
Yeah.
so.
Yeah,
I think so.
she actually sustained some injury doing that.
Mm.
And,
Now,
and,
I
and this movie,
wouldn't. Oh, go
it's like
ahead.
this movie had a lot of fan service, because they even had Cassandra,
Mm.
Scuffandra. I keep getting her name messed up. It's
Stuff
Scuffandra.
Sandra.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing
No, the
is
woman that had hands for feet.
for feet. But
Mhm.
the thing is, and like I said, you could see that they were doing their best with the material they were given. It's just the material they were given in regards to, and I'd seen several reviewers say the same thing. The material they were given was kind of was well, not kind of, subpar. And when the actors don't know where they are in the story's done. when the actors are like, I don't know where I'm supposed to be here. You know, you
It's
kind of just automatically it kills the film when the actors aren't sure where they are.
it's-
I
I
didn't
wouldn't-
realize that Beavis and Butthead were part of Liquid Television.
yeah,
Yeah, that's how they started, was Liquid Television.
I-
You know, a
Liquid
lot of-
I
Television
thought they were
spawned
two
a
separate
lot of different series. Like Liquid
Yeah.
Television spawned the Head. If it wasn't for Liquid Television, we would have never had TV series like The Head, Beavis and Butthead, Eon Flux. What was the other one?
Let's see. This is a listing that they have. The Art School, Girls of Doom, The Specialist, Brad Dharma,
Yeah,
Psychic
that
Detective.
one didn't get their own TV series. The Special didn't get their own TV series. Art Girls did not get their own TV series.
Brad Dharma, Psychic Detective, and then Spike and Mike's Festival of Animation is what's listed on the official website as shows they had. And I just
Spike's
thought that it
Anime Festival was them finding all these short anime films, and they were broken them up into like shorts.
and then
I
I
believe
don't
one
know.
was called The Circuit.
I guess I
Go
never
ahead.
realized that Beavis and Butthead were part of it because I always remember Liquid Television was on and then Beavis and Butthead came on.
well, they were
No,
doing
Beavis and Butthead was first introduced in Liquid Television,
Okay.
yeah,
just like Eon
they
Flux was.
yeah, they
So,
were shorts
like the
that
Simpsons
they did.
and Tracy Ullman.
Yeah,
Mhm.
they
Yeah,
started
okay.
out as shorts and in their the rough idea, and then they got, you know, it's like, oh well,
Right.
you know, you've got some fans here, and you know, with a little more refining, this could be something,
Mm,
and then it became what it was.
right.
I was never that into Beavis and Butthead, but that's just me. That's just
But
me.
then again, if it wasn't for Liquid Television, we would never got Eon Flux and Beavis and Butthead. If we didn't have Beavis and Butthead, we would never had Daria.
That's right. That's
So-
right. Or King of the Hill.
Or King of the
Yeah,
Hill.
or the King of the Hill. That's true.
Yes. But
Yeah,
did any of you ever see the Beavis and Butthead revival in the 2000s where they were watching like Jersey Shore and stuff instead of music videos?
Oh no.
Well, they
I-
would
I-
no,
That
they
was-
did go back to watching videos, but they was watching other stuff than videos. They was
Yeah,
solely watching
that
videos.
was
when they
fun.
show.
Watching Beavis and Butthead watch Jersey Shore was hilarious.
Okay. I never watched Jersey Shore because I just never, it's like
The only-
a friend explained it to me. It's like, oh, okay. Well,
The only time I watched it was when it was on Beavis and Butthead, and that was the only time
okay.
I could deal with it. So
Because Beavis and Butthead would put it in its proper perspective as far as how silly it was.
mm-hmm.
you know, and I had by that time I pretty much lost my interest in reality TV. You know, once you realize, oh, this is all cast and not in the way you think it is. You know, this one was chosen to be this character, this one was chosen to be that character, this one was chosen to be that character, and you realize, oh, okay, and then they are setting up situations, and you're supposed to react in regards to the situation you're given. You know, playing the character you've been cast at. And it's like, okay, so you know, you're not really whoever, and years later, someone will come out and go, because I just saw an article. This girl who was on America, she was season 9 of America's Next Top Model.
Mhm.
She was the plus size model. She was the only plus size model, and she talked about what they went through. And, you know, they showed up and then they took all their money and their phones and their IDs and whatnot, and said, you can't, and the keys to their hotels, they said, you can't lock these doors. You know, so they basically took these girls hostage, and they would do things to punish them if they didn't perform in certain ways.
Now, see, I want to see that show.
And but to me it was like I was reading what she wrote, and it's like, yeah, this is what happens when you get when you decide you want to when it's like, hopefully you learn the lesson that succeeding at any cost is usually at a cost much higher than what you're willing to pay. Because she's talking about all these things, and she was saying, yeah, we were given so much money for our food, but then they would go out and shop for the food, and we had to give them the money to pay for the food. So it was like, well, geez, that. But because they weren't actors, SAG rules did not apply. It was a reality show. They weren't actors, so SAG rules like per diem and whatnot did not apply to them because technically they weren't actors. And
well,
this was
technically, because it's considered a reality show,
a reality show.
It falls up under game show rules.
And so,
and that's the problem. That's where the problem lies at. They could get away with a lot of stuff up under game show rules. That's something that I do know about. That's one of my favorite genres that I study a lot of, game shows.
But I remember just reading this and going, I hope you learned. Because it was like, even if because when they eliminate the girls, they don't send them home. They just stick them in a hotel room.
Well, they can't go home until the cycle is over with.
Because they can't talk to the press. So they'll just stick them in a hotel room. Only thing is, they can't order room service. They can't lock their door. And they're not allowed to see anybody. And they can't talk to each other when the cameras aren't on them. So they can listen to an iPod or something because they can't use their phones. So they give them iPods and stuff to listen to. And if they decide to punish you, they just take your iPod away. So you have nothing to listen to because you're not allowed to talk to any of the other girls unless they're filming. And then they manufactured a situation for them to film. And I was sitting and it's like, oh, Tyra, I don't know if you saw my post when it's like, Tyra Banks, you have so much to answer for.
Because you haven't seen the documentary as of yet. I'm going to watch that Netflix documentary.
This girl was leading into, and she was talking about the documentary, and she had written a book about it and whatnot. And I was like, your name was all over this. You were the face of this show. You knew what was happening to these girls and you let it happen.
And it gets worse.
What I'm saying is this is a woman, when she had her talk show several times, dragged Naomi Campbell onto her show to try to get her to admit that she ruined her career as a model. Tyra Banks, for the longest time, whined and complained about how Naomi Campbell ruined her modeling career. She had to quit as a model because Naomi Campbell made life so intolerable for her. And I'm like, girl, you was supposed to be tough. You know what they'd have done in my hood? They'd have whooped her ass and told her to deal with that. Broke a couple of bones or something. But what I'm saying is getting her on your show. And of course, Campbell's going to show up because she's getting paid. When you do talk shows like that, you get paid to be there. It's at least a couple of grand that, and they send a limo for you and do your hair and everything. And then they send you home in a limo. So she was just coming to get paid. But it was, I remember watching her when she had her talk show and just cracking up because it's like, do you not get you should be sitting there with a therapist? Because trying to get this woman to admit on camera that she single-handedly destroyed your modeling career is just beyond insane. And the fact that you keep trying to do this says, like again, the wounded child. She is stuck in this thing and she can't get past it. And it's like, and because it's like you had a talk show, you had this show. It's not like you went off into obscurity. You got other things. People gave you other opportunities, and yet you still weren't happy. And it's like, if you blame her, the question is, maybe it had less to do with her and more to do with you.
My favorite thing about America's Next Top Model had nothing to do with the show. Had nothing to do with the show whatsoever.
Okay.
The fact that a friend of mine who is an indie comic artist his African American guy. He had this big elaborate plan before they introduced male models on there. He was going to go on the show and he was going to win because every time they would try to kick him off, he would say it's because he's racist.
On the show that
Yes.
the face of which is a black woman.
And he was so adamant about it would work, and he had it planned out so well that every time my wife watched the show, I just laughed because I could just see him up there and Tara Banks staring at him, going, "You just racist." Oh, that was my favorite part of the show.
No, see, now you got me picturing. You got me picturing this. The elimination scene. She up here is like, she's like showing everybody is like which person's photo is like you're safe, you're safe, you're safe, you're safe.
Mhm.
And the person that you're talking about gets to like the final two. We don't know which one is going home. And you know, they get their whole spiel to say it's like why they should stay. He says it's always like it's because you're racist and this, that, and the other.
Yes.
But the thing is
And
that wouldn't
he
have
said
worked
he
because-
said it would make them so uncomfortable he would end up winning the show because they didn't want to be racist.
No, if he'd have said you're sexist, you know, he might have had a chance. But no, he's playing a race card at a black woman.
And
I'm
it
like-
was so funny listening to him say it. I was like,
No,
it's
it's even funny because there's so many people of color that's there, from coordinators, walk coaches, and all this other stuff that's there.
One of the
It
judges
have
is
the
a
whole race car. It don't have the whole race car played. It was like, this is going to be interesting. I want to
Yes,
see that happen. I really do.
no,
I was so disappointed when they finally introduced male models. It was like, damn, his plan won't work now.
because you know what? They'd have planned to show somewhere out on the street, and he'd gotten accidentally run over by a car. That would have been the end of that.
Now,
You know,
now his plan would definitely work after season 9.
Hmm.
You want to know what happened? I think it was either season 9 or season 10. You want to know why?
why?
They had a blackface incident. She actually
I
had a
remember
challenge.
that.
She had a challenge where the models have to be a different ethnicity. So she had some of the people go into
Yeah.
blackface and some of the other people doing all these other augmentations. And it just like at that point, if he came up and says like I'm in the bottom 2 and this, that, and the other, what do you need? What it's like, it was like what the it was like, give us reason why you need to stay. You're a racist because you made me put on blackface to do it.
Thing is I can honestly say I've never watched a complete episode of that show. It's like, oh, this is a bunch of pretty people who could actually, if they actually had paid attention in school, could be off making something of their lives, and each of them is trying to fight for the chance to say I'm prettier than you, or I'm more. It's like, please, yeah, I'm gonna say it, bitch, please. Just there's that point where you're watching it, and it's like, thank you, bye.
My favorite part of when I have to watch any of these type reality shows, and I will admit I'm a sucker for like the Gordon Ramsay cooking reality shows. They're hilarious.
He just drives me crazy. It's like,
Is when they have the obvious voiceovers and the really, really terrible jump cut edits where this didn't happen in this sequence. Like this probably happened 3 weeks later and they just put it in here.
yeah.
It is so funny when you see it. It's like they don't even care. They know these people aren't paying that close attention to this. It is so funny to me.
The last
And to see like Gordon Ramsay on his own show where he's by himself cooking, it's like he's one of the most down to earth, normal persons ever. But yet, Hell's Kitchen.
and he just tears into people. I'm like, you know what? There is nothing in my life I need that badly where I would willingly, because it's like I would be in prison right now. Because the minute he started yelling in my face, it's like, bitch, let me introduce you to my friend, Mr. Stabby.
Well,
See, that's the reason why. Go ahead.
I watched the BBC versions of a lot of those Gordon Ramsay shows, and like the one that got real big over here, Kitchen Nightmares. You know
That one
where
I love. I love Kitchen Nightmares because he
well,
wasn't
yeah,
angry. He was trying to help
U
people legitimately keep the
yes,
businesses.
on the US version, he's screaming at everybody. Everybody
He's screaming.
cries.
He's throwing temper tantrums,
They
and it's
all
like,
get a
you know what?
rebuilt restaurant. And then the one over there on the BBC, he goes in there and he's like, all right, look, this is why your restaurant's failing. This is what you need to fix. And they fix it. There's
And
none of this
he could
screaming
do
and
that.
crying.
I'm like, you know what? The minute you walk in and you on my face like that, oh, sweetie, I have lived in the projects. I have ducked and covered from active gunfire coming at me. Okay? I don't care about his accent. He wants to start yelling at me. Oh, it's on, bitch, it's on. Hey, I'm so glad you made it home safe. Can she hear me? Oh, okay.
Yes, he just got it on mute. They're talking. They're talking.
She gave him a kiss. I cannot hear you.
Because he on mute. He got it on mute. He's muted himself.
Oh, he muted himself.
Came in here to tell me you've played with your friends too long. You need to come pay attention to me.
Hello, you go.
Yeah, like I said in the very beginning, it's
I
like
need to send you
this is not my show until you guys take it over. So
I need to
in
send
other
you
words, Cliff is about to go bye-bye. So
I need to send you a saddle and a riding crop.
What makes you think we don't have that already?
Oh man. Okay, I will have to work on it. In case he didn't tell you, I'm sending some stuff for the girls.
Aww.
I'm sending some
It's
things
really
for
nice
the
to
girls.
sit here and listen to him talk about things he loves with good people.
Mm-hmm.
But
I'm not a good person. I'm not a good person. I have been in psych wards. I was trained how to kill folks by the government. I'm not a good person, but I have.
That sounds like an awesome person to me.
I have some things. A book on a book with drawing exercises. I have a Wonder Woman and a Diana Princess of the Amazons, the Diana Nubia Princesses of the Amazon books.
She talked about with crazy.
So those are for the girls. And then I've got I'm sending a thing of India ink and a pen holder with nibs so they can work on their calligraphy.
See, right now in my house, the girls have decided that tomorrow for homeschool art class, they're going to dress up as characters from Five Nights from Freddy's. So
Okay.
for the last week, the entire house has been one giant cosplay project, and we're ready for it to be over.
Okay, there are some people, and I will give you names, that they make costumes and cosplay. They do LARPing. And they do amazing stuff. These women, if that's something they have an interest in, I've got a whole list of people I can send you. Did he show you the list I've sent of artists? Mark Crilly is exceptionally good. He does comics for kids and stuff.
I don't know if I showed you or not. I will.
I sent some list of artists on YouTube who do really good art. And Mark Crilly actually has, especially his earlier ones, he gives instructions on, oh, today we're going to draw this, today we're going to draw that, and he goes through the process so they can learn, you know. And then of course I don't know if he's told you I'm a writer and an artist, so you know, and I read Tolkien for fun as well as Shakespeare and stuff like that. So I'm actually, there's some books I'm trying to find for the girls to send that I think would be really good. But I won't send them until I've cleared the titles with you guys first, because I mean, I think Wuthering Heights and those Jane Austen books are ridiculous. They don't teach girls anything but how to be somebody's victim.
Yep.
There are better books.
I'm obsessed with Trevor Noah. I listened to his podcast, and he had someone on there that had kids, and he's like, they're into Moana and stuff like that. And he goes, "Have you ever watched K-pop Demon Hunter?" And I'm like, "Oh."
That is my fault. I am so sorry. I did not mean to inflict that insanity on you. He never lets me forget it. I am so sorry. I am so sorry. Please forgive me. But I think once the girls are older, maybe like 14 or so, I've got some great the Dragon Riders of Pern series and the Harper Hall series are great books. At least the early ones that Anne McCaffrey wrote herself. The ones her son started writing, or I've heard are not good, and I haven't read them. But the early books, the early trilogies, Moreda's Ride. It's a great story. She's done some amazing books. Ursula K. Le Guin, The Left Hand of Darkness, is a phenomenal book, and I think give your oldest, I think, in another year would be able to read The Left Hand of Darkness. You know, but I have to tell you, Gimli Eye is a black man. The Sparrowhawk from the Earthsea books, that's a black guy. So I warn people because
why?
Because when they did the Earthsea movie on NBC and then Sci-Fi Channel, they cast Sean Astin as Sparrowhawk. So it's like, no, actually he's a black
Rudy
guy.
Yes, Rudy.
Yeah. They cast him as Sparrowhawk. So, but yeah, I have a list of books that I think would be really good. When your oldest, I think, would really love Tanith Lee. Tanith Lee is an amazing British, she was an amazing British author who has, the first book of hers I ever read was Volkovar, and it just mind blown.
What you mean our middle? We have 3 girls.
The oldest.
Yeah. You mean Tom?
Oh, you do mean Tom. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, because those are more mature books. But I think she might like Tanith Lee. I have a collection. And I know where I can find paperback copies.
Our oldest doesn't like anything if people smile in it. They all have to be miserable.
No. This is the Silver Metal Lover. She will love.
Okay.
Volkovar, the Silver
probably knows
Metal
what
Lover,
you're talking about too.
But yeah, ask her if there's anything like that she'd be interested in, and if I can find them, I will. Because I've got a package that I'm giving to Joe, and then Joe's going to send down to you guys.
Yep.
And then if you ever want somebody to sit and for English reading comprehension, going over stories and stuff, I will happily. We can do it via Messenger, and you can be there so you can hear what I have to say and how I say and what I choose. And
what she doesn't know is the box when she sends the box down here to us. I'm sending a box back to her. It's got the girls in it.
But is it going to go to Joe first?
Yes.
It'll never reach here because they'll just burn Joe's house down.
And we're going to come here on one Thursday, and they're going to be sitting there where Joe's supposed to be. And we're like, yeah, we know what happened there.
Joe, do you have any kids?
No.
Lucky.
Smart.
I have 2 sons. My oldest is an adult with ADHD, and my youngest is autistic. So, I've got experience with neurodivergency.
I'm an adult with ADHD, so I understand completely.
So is Charles. He turns 39 this year. So, but he's a total gamer. And so, and I have to
watch it on your phone. Is that on the stuff like that?
What?
I don't know. I was gonna look at it tomorrow, but actually, I end up listening more than I do watching at work. Because I was curious about Cliff's audio and stuff, but I'll have to look on.
The phone mode that we have over on the corner here on the main screen throws me off the entire time we do this. So I didn't know if she saw that when she watched it or not.
Oh, you could just click that so it closes, and then you only have what the main screen is. You can always close the vertical.
Oh, okay. Wait, no, that didn't close it. That made it big. I'll figure it out tomorrow. Okay.
Well, it's getting late. I have not eaten yet, and I've missed the first hour of Critical Role, and I have
I'm
to
gonna
get up
go
in the
have some hot
morning.
cocoa and eat Pillsbury muffins because I'm a fat kid. So
I'm gonna have a Philly cheesecake sandwich.
Okay, that's good. So
You know.
let's do it. Let's do the thing here.
Thank you guys for coming. We love you. We love the fact that you allow us to do this and not coming to where we live and burning our houses down. Anyway, I'm Elaine, lenscaponline.com, Elaine Haygood here at YouTube. Come to my website. Go down to where it says, drop us a line. Leave me, give me a comment. I will respond. Okay. I promise I will. Anyway, thank you for coming. Y'all have a good day. You're the reason why we do this, other than the fact that other people won't talk to us. Y'all take care. Bye.
And now we got Cliff.
thank you for joining us. It was an experience as always. I'm gonna go drink some hot cocoa and eat muffins now. You want to come join me in Olive Branch? Doors open. Bring money. If not, I'll see you next week, and I'll make you sit through more DCKO. Thank you. Come again.
And that brings it to me where I gotta say this episode of Comic Book Spectrum is brought to you by Plasma Fire Graphics. If you need somebody who can do you that awesome cover that will bring people to your table where you can say, hey, I want to know more about that book, hit up Jeffrey Hayes at Plasma Fire Graphics, and you won't be disappointed here. If you don't believe me, maybe you will believe what you see in this video.
You've worked hard and written a great book. Now it's time to give it a great cover. If you're an indie author or small press publisher, Plasma Fire Graphics is your source for affordable cover illustration and graphic design. Plasma Fire Graphics, when the look of your book matters to you.
You've seen the graphics, you've seen what he could do for you. Now hit Jeffrey Hayes up at plasmafiregraphics.com or hit up his Facebook group for Plasma Fire Graphics. As far as I'm concerned, I'm going to be back here on Saturday. We got a whole stack of books to go through. We got a nice sort of topic to talk about, but I'm not going to spoil that as of right now. So until then, live life, grow, and be well. And unlike our founder of Comic Book Spectrum, Brian K. Morris, I don't care if you wash your hands. Just never, and I do mean never, apologize for being awesome. We'll catch you here next Thursday on Comic Book Spectrum. Bye.